Should I? I feel like I should leave Discord and come back, and then my camera might work. I don't know. I'm gonna try that. All right. Yo. I think I figured I had 5 updates for Discord, so one of those had to have been something important. Oh, yes! Well, at least that works. I just can't hear you. Wait, can anyone else? Like, how do you know if anyone in the audience can hear you? What up, Trizlet? Or should I
Hey
should
yo, yeah, no, that's right.
I can
Yeah,
hear
we can all hear you. We can't hear Easy. He's having some
man.
audio problems.
Make me think I'm messing up.
I know. I thought I we were all talking in live chat, but I'm like, man, I gotta jump up there and say something.
The thing with Discord, if you use any other platform and then switch back, it just messes everything up. Everything just gets disconfigured somehow. Um,
Yeah.
but I never used this stage functionality. I don't know. I'm gonna have to feel my way around.
Well, yeah, we try all kinds of experiments and stuff. We always have in Token Smart, and I just found the stage is like it replicates the Twitter Spaces, sort of. Like I want to hear you. I don't want to hear everybody talking over you, which is what normally happens in live chat. So I
That's
feel
fair.
like,
Yeah, and then you don't get the video options and stuff like that, so it's good.
yeah,
I hope one day we'll just bring these over into hubs, and that's what I'll sort of be explaining is, trying to be the next evolution of Discord and whatnot. And if we go down, it's because Discord's after me already. They're like
oh yeah.
using AI to, yeah. Whenever I'm talking trash, I'll just disconnect.
Shit, I didn't think about that. Yeah, Token Smart, but you just get wiped off the planet hearing you talk like this. Yeah, don't
Yeah,
just
don't
just
you're gonna kick me out before they do. No, it's
no.
I mean, I'm a true believer in innovation and sometimes I think platforms get so big and they're just kind of, feeding into investor interest rather than, siphoning off value from the end user and I don't know. I want to start like the other way around, like really delivering for the end user, which would be me included, and that's kind of got me to where I'm at now. It's where I want to build something that I would want to use every day and utilize to, interact with my community and things like I don't really have a community right now, but when I do, consider getting one, it'll be what I use hopefully.
Dude, that's cool.
You'll
I
see what
think,
I'm talking about soon. And I hope you like it. You'll
yeah.
interrupt.
No, I'm excited to see some of that. I know I followed you for a long time. We've all been here for a long time, right? Like I
Hmm.
remember, weren't you doing some DCL stuff for a while? Like it's
I
been a
mean
long ass time.
I I mean I dabbled in Decentraland and I mean I was with some projects who were actually building stuff out. I was never like the learning curve was just too high for me, and that may be embarrassing. Um, but I just never got good at Blender, so I got like one template uploaded, and that was it. I couldn't do anything else.
No, I mean, I was there at the Decentraland ICO. Like, I was
Oh,
there
that's
right from the beginning and stuff, and I still don't like. They never achieve what they promised and stuff, and I don't
did
like that. So I still
yeah.
don't
They
like.
started out as VR too, right? It was going to be a
Yeah.
VR thing, and they shifted, and um,
Well,
yeah,
that I
I'm
followed Ben over to Voxels because Ben was part of their team, and then he built the engine,
uh
and then there was some issues with that, and he didn't like their
I
some of their
loved
investors and stuff.
yeah, Voxels was great. I think they were just understaffed. Like that was just
Oh,
it.
it still is. They're still
Yeah.
alive and kicking. I mean, I love
eh,
getting in there. It's still fun, but
Yep.
same story. They just don't have the team to like make it a massive world takeover.
Yeah.
Take Zuckerberg out, right? Which is what
Yeah.
we need.
And that's sort of what I've done, cuz I joined the space like late 2017, and I saw sort of like what works and what doesn't, and I tried to fix anything that I could. And so now, we're just now starting to be public facing, and I'm getting to get the feedback. And so far, feedback's been really great, but not everyone I've spoken to has a rich knowledge of the space in general. So I'm excited tonight to kind of like get some true OG feedback on what I've put together rather than just maybe Web 2 oriented people that I've spoken to so far. They like it. The UI is great and everything, but they don't really get the problems I'm solving. Like, and you'll see what I'm talking about once I really jump into it. What up, dude? Come on.
Yeah, can we hear you now? No, I still can't hear you, Easy. I know I took over Easy's corner,
This
but
is cool.
I wanted to
Yeah.
jump up because man, it's no, it's. I'm working on an app for Token Smart too, as like a community event aggregator to, with social fi things in it to create profiles, see what other people are participating in, where they're at, tie it to everything. Like I feel like it's the
Dude.
same story what you're talking about. Like these are tools that I feel strongly the space needs.
Yep.
Nobody else seems to be doing it, or there's like
Mhm.
little bits of it. Everybody does a little
Exactly. It's
tiny bit. And
fragmented. It's fragmented out, but each of the isolated fragmentations isn't enough to like sustain anything to
yeah.
either get off the runway or just sustain in general and have return value and such. So I'm not trying to say that I've solved everything, but I think I got a really great foundation for something really, really cool. And again, this space really just needs a good push of innovation and from someone that's just been around and understands the problems. And so I went dark for like a long time trying to like figure all this out. And as you can see, the bags under my eyes, those are real.
Dude, this
um,
whole it's interesting 'cause when I talk to people about that, there's founders like I spent a long career. I was in IT for decades. I spent 20 years in corporate IT before I came to crypto. So I'm like I've been around the the racetrack, the whole thing, like chasing that ladder, trying to like find my way through. And the thing that brought me here is just like it's interesting and exciting, and there's all kinds of cool stuff. But I'm like, it's so complex. Nobody's like, you need somebody who's been here, either got screwed, rugged, participated in stuff that only half worked, and it's like
yeah,
has that like, wow, there's like 30 things here that are all good. All 30 of
yeah.
those need to be like here in one spot, and then you
I've
can.
seen I've seen some really green like personalities in this space, and I always try and like see where they're at in the cycles of like almost like having the euphoria, getting through the depressive state of getting, either rugged or just riding those token highs and lows. And but like I can always kind of see myself in them like a few years back, and just having that understanding, like they'll come around, if their heart's in it. I'm not really talking about those individuals just trying to siphon off value. But those who are really really advocating for the space. And it's just weird seeing a reflection of yourself in the past, and it makes you also think like maybe I have been around for a little while, and I have a deep understanding and tricks of the trade. Don't look at the charts. Stay keep your head eye on the prize kind of mentality. That's how I ride. So I don't
That's
know what
good.
you want to do easy with the your mic thing. I don't
I still
still
can't
cannot
hear
hear
you. Yeah, we gotta.
you.
I don't know. kill Discord and come back in. Yeah.
Yeah, I had like a lot of updates. So I wasn't
No,
but
I
I've
know
seen.
we want to hear about it because it's like what you were just saying is really interesting. Like I mean, yeah, being in the space long enough, whether you know everything or not, isn't the point. Like I don't know everything. In fact, now the more time you spend there, like I like your humbleness a little bit because you have been around the block. You've seen stuff. You've participated in it. It's funny when I talk to people. Like I feel like I've made fortunes and lost many more fortunes. Like there's not many places where you can be like, yeah, I can retire now. Oh nope, I can't. I guess I'm back to
Yeah,
the grind. Like you, like,
I have that sold my punk for $80 story. That
oh yeah.
yeah, it's it's very sad. I actually wrote a whole blog about it. I even learned how to lose a lot of money gambling in the crypto space, and that was also in the story I wrote. Like I didn't even understand that whole addiction and stuff, but this space has taught me a lot, and I want to like
Oh
synthesize all that learning into something good, and that really
Okay.
gives back. So we can. Sounds
yeah,
like
we're
you're in
hearing
a
static now. That's good.
you're there. It's oh.
And I feel
Well,
like I should get off because it's funny with the CryptoPunks are fun because I still have a CryptoPunk. So everybody's like, "Oh, you must be smart." I'm like, at one point, I actually had 8 CryptoPunks. So no, the
mm,
fact I have one is actually really bad. Like,
I
Any
mean, you wrote it pretty good. So, I mean, I was like that too. The one that I bought was like going to be the keeper, but, um, yeah, it looked like me and everything.
good
Anyway,
times.
that's depressing. I don't want to talk about that.
any
I got to get happy.
any audio?
Yeah, we got
Any
you. It
audio?
sounds like
You got me.
it
Oh,
sounds,
oh, that was crazy.
not great, but it's good. It's workable.
Nice.
I don't know what's the like. I've been having weird audio connecting issues where it usually takes me a couple minutes. Like I have to maybe switch a device or quit Discord and restart. But this was like crazy. I honestly thought you guys were joking a couple minutes ago when I kind of jumped back on. It was like
We
the
planned this.
third or fourth device. I fired up like an old computer and like got on and I'm all, can you guys hear me? And Tris's all, no, we still can't hear you. But you said it like right after it was like so
Mm.
kind of casual that I was like, oh, okay, so you can hear me now. But I'll let you guys finish like the conversation you were in. Um, come like a minute or two later, I realized, oh wait, they must really not have heard me.
Oh,
So
sorry.
this was
Yeah, I was
just
just trying.
quite.
I was just trying to fill your dead space.
Oh,
I
dude,
hand over to
I
the real host here.
I completely appreciate you doing that because yeah, that was like 15 minutes. It would have been crazy to just leave Russ up here alone that long. And
I'm good
I
at
mean, it was good
riffing.
conversation. It was
Yeah, I thought
good
he's your
stuff.
co-host, man. What's up?
Yeah, I was, and then because you were like, "Oh, I should go down." That was also when I thought you were joking because you were like, "Oh, I should probably go down." When I had jumped back up, and I was going to be like, "Oh, you should actually maybe stay up because with what you're working on for Token Smart and what Russ is doing here, there might be some interesting connections and tie over, possibly." So, I mean, feel free if you want to jump down, you can. If you want to stay up, stay up.
No,
But
I
yeah.
really want to hear about
Um,
what Russ is working on. I mean, this is all stuff that just I've already just some of the teasers you were dropping before. I'm like, oh man, I'm already excited now because I'm like, we need to
yeah.
probably talk after the
I don't feel
after
like I
this.
do it
Totally.
justice either. Like, and I'm more visually oriented as well. So, how do you want me to do this? I'm trying to figure out which browser thing to share. If I
To
need to do
share. Yeah,
entire.
if you wanna share screen to show us some visuals, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I think everybody here pretty much knows that you are a OG, especially after just listening to that little kind of intro convo with you and Trislet. There's no need to like bandy about our old scars and wrinkles of crypto. We've been around.
Yeah.
So yeah, Russ, great to have you on, and I'm excited to hear about what you've been building because as you kind of mentioned to Trislet, you were like, you kind of dropped out for a bit to really think about stuff, and it's a lot. It's a
Yeah.
lot.
I
So
also
like
had
that
a.
could take years.
Yeah. I also had like I don't even know what to call it, like existential crises in the mix of that. But yeah, I did take a huge break, but it was great because I got some time to really process everything, and I feel like this is something that I'm really proud of, and it's I don't know, it's like a to me this is like my Mona Lisa. I even told my wife, I was like, this is it. This is the last time I'm gonna go out on this entrepreneur kick because I've done the merry-go-round
Yep.
several times, and I get really hyper into like I used to have really bad like shiny object syndrome, and it was always the next big thing, and I'd sink a bunch of time and then lose interest, or not, I mean, not necessarily just like that, but I would get in situations where it just wouldn't ride out like I thought it would, and it was just it's hard to keep hyped about something in your own echo chamber, you know.
Yeah.
And this one, it's been great because I've developed a lot of relationships and people who have the same vision. A fantastic developer. I found some like the really serendipitous relationships that just kind of showed up in my life. And I'm all about like randomness being, there's always something to randomness to me. I always like to think it's the universe trying to hook me up. So there are a lot of
Yeah.
those moments really happened, and I usually just chase that, and yeah, it kind of got me here. And like I said, this was like my last hoo-yah. It was almost like me testing the universe. I'm like, you know what? It's this or nothing. I'm gonna leave. I'm not.
Right.
I mean, I'll go do a 9 to 5. The crypto space will see me no more. And so yeah, I'm excited to be where I am. I mean, we're not, in beta yet. We have a demo, but if you really saw how far we came just to get to this point, it's really exciting, and we're all about like celebrating the small wins because that's sort of, I don't know, it just makes it better sometimes because it's
Yeah.
always an emotional roller coaster no matter what. So I'm excited to be where we are. And anyway, I guess I don't even know where to start because normally I have this presentation that I'm actually in the middle of just refreshing because went through a rebrand. But yeah, I guess I could start there and then just take questions
Sure.
all along. I don't. And then what's the time frame? Like, how much do you want to keep
We
this to?
got we got plenty of time. What like this show, so usually like the guest will maybe talk for an hour or something. Then there's like an hour of music after that. Sometimes it goes for more hours than just a couple. So we're not on any time crunch. You've
Hmm.
got as much time as you want to sort of go through the motion. So yeah, if you want to start like with your little you got a little demo or something, that sounds like it
Yeah.
might be a good way to
Well, that
kick it
was like
off.
I have the demo. Well, the demo is like the final. This is the UI. I don't know if can you see my is it showing the yeah, it is cool. Um
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so the demo is like the last puzzle piece, I like to think. Let me just so this was the old UI, and maybe I can just cherry pick from this. I'll bust through it really fast. Oops. How do I do
Sure.
this? Canva's kind of cool. Like I was able to put this together. But yeah, it's an immersive, expansive metaverse kind of thing. I don't actually like to use the term metaverse. It's got kind of a negative connotation now, so it's more of a virtual world. Cheers, freaking hair in my mouth, man. Um, and we expand from the center outward. I can show you like the tile layout here in a bit, but there's a really interesting breakdown. So we have these zones, which are made up of 64x64 tiles, and on those tiles, um, we build structures for our white label onboarding, and that's a huge thing we do differently from other projects. Is we pretty much introduce our quote unquote clients into the Were metaverse, and we build out their structures. And it's more about properties than land. And so we build the buildings. They tell us what kind of buildings, and this is the breakdown of the types of buildings. So this is a zone, that little tile there, and then
Mhm.
the next one. But within the zones, there's three types of spaces. There's venues, and within venues, we have like the scheduled events that you can do, which also ties into our venue modules where you can do the screen sharing, webcam, Twitch streaming, among other things, but it's all on the s- giant screen within the venue itself. And they're all scheduled
Nice.
events. And every one of these scheduled events, you get a Pope like ticket stub. Like I had mentioned before, I took a lot of things from the past that I knew worked and I implemented them. And the main thing about our application is it's events based. Like we want to create like really tremendous return value, and it's the communities and the people and the even with Decentraland, the biggest upticks in the users were whenever they did that beginning the games where you could earn the stuff. But beyond that are the events where you'd get free stuff. So this is where you get the events, you get the Pope, but it's not a Pope. It's a little bit more than that. It's kind of like an evolution of that alone. So you got the venues, really great. And then the next thing is the spaces, and those are the ones the players own. And then there's public spaces, which are areas where anyone can explore at any time. So private spaces, you can have your own little private events, personalize your
Nice.
rooms with your NFTs and things, either made by us or brought in from other projects and ecosystems. Everything is curated, so it's not like a free for all on avatars or NFTs. We want this to be a really curated experience and just kind of like top shelf stuff from in every aspect of this world. So immersive experiences is the big one. So this is the stuff that goes on in the venues to make it feel really immersive. And I think play this. And it was just some examples, but you can do like video premieres. Obviously, you can do the Twitch thing, or Kick, which is becoming more popular, or just do a lot of things. So this really cool thing that I've thought of recently, watching like super popular Twitch streamers, is how they always reference the chat, and if you actually look over at the chat, it's like it's a flooded wall of text that you just never can. I don't know how they actually pick out a sentence in there and respond.
Right.
But the thing that I'm trying to accomplish here is the relationships that could have happened based on the common interest of enjoying this Twitch streamer, enjoying this. It doesn't have to, like, the people utilizing the venues can be an individual artist. It could be, a number of different things, even like a band or anything like that. But around that commonality of interest, you have these people who, if it's a really popular person, they're chatting in this little window of chat, then the chances of them actually developing a relationship is like slim to none. And what's so great about this platform here is you can have the screen off to the side or full screen, whatever, but you have the ability to kind of walk off to, a corner or a table or something and actually interact with that person one on one while still having the action going on in the background. But it's really about like having the potential to make relationships based on common interest. And then obviously with NFTs, you can have a lot of data points to, how they have like friend recommendations. Well, you can make some pretty awesome friend recommendations based on what's in someone's wallet and such like that,
True.
or what events they're attending. And then I'll get more into that because of what stubs actually do, and how that all works. So this was a really neat thing. It was kind of piggybacked off of TikTok, and how you can do GIFs in TikTok
Mm-hmm.
during the live streams. Well, this is somewhat similar, except your avatar does something really cool towards the stage, and obviously the person on stage,
Nice.
presenter. So it's a way for them to make money. What's even cooler though is, so you saw in the beginning there was zones, and so those zones own all the structures within their area, and if it's a venue, they can actually get a cut of all the tips being had within their
Mm.
venue, and it's super cool. And then if there's ticket sales, they get a cut of that. If they want to, they can have all the revenue. We don't touch any of the revenue from that. It's all for the venue or the zone's venue owner and stuff. So the next thing is kind of like a really big push on the growth strategy. And it's funny, I created this so long ago, and now this whole growth hacking, or what do they call it? I guess it would be growth hacking. So anyway, we'll jump into that. But it's engagement rewards. Sorry, I didn't say that.
Okay.
So the first thing, and like my most favorite part of it, again, is the Pope like ticket stubs, which are a eternal memento of the event that happened, and it does like several things at once. The first is the ability to basically open up the stub and see everything that happened within that event. Not only do you get a full replay of the event itself and the people in there and all that, but you also get to see who did the most paid reactions, is what I call them right now, and then how long the people were there. What's even cooler is that these data points are also available to the presenter. I call them promoter groups, and so the promoter groups are the ones who have the ability to actually put on scheduled events. So as you can see here, these little the tickets actually look cooler than this now, believe it or not.
Nice.
So the next thing that these stubs do is unlock merchandise and basically tiers. So you can collect, let's say if Britney Spears was doing events within our ecosystem and she set up her merchandise store to have it where you could claim a poster that could be, placed in your private room. If you have 3 of those ticket stubs, you can do 3 stubs and then a certain amount of our in-game currency. Those combined would get a limited run of those posters that she has available, and you can just continue to expand that out. Like now you've got to go to 50 events and stuff like that, and it can grow and they can be customized however they want. But basically it has tiers that they unlock as they collect things, and that ends up doing is allow the most your biggest fans to have the access, and the ones who like actually stick around and participate, even if it's someone who's a community doing AMAs. They're there, they're getting the education, and then they also get access to the merchandise that flexes their interest. And the next and last thing is the profile badges that um, basically become more and more how do you like radiant, if you will. Like the more events that you attend, let's say you went to 3 of the events, it unlocks a badge that has a number 3, the logo, and then it's like got some like I don't know, garnishing's the wrong word, but it just becomes really, really cool the more that you actually attend. So
Nice.
it's all about flexing your, not flex. It's your like it displays your affinity towards a group and stuff, and further, um, displays your personality. Which again, that's kind of like what collecting's all about. Is just a reflection of who you are. It's a lot that I learned from like Terra Virtua and doing artist interviews and talking to collectors and things. And I mean, there's this notion about NFTs that you keep forever, and those are the ones that actually like reflect you as a person.
Hmm.
I remember when I bought Brian Brinkman's artwork, and then I later did an interview with him, and I realized our personalities were so similar, and how cool that was. That like if you enjoy the art, there's a person behind that, and you'll most likely enjoy the person as well behind it.
Totally.
I found that out, and it was really crazy. And so a lot of this, what I've done here is like that collective, stuff that I've learned over time. And anyway, again with the growth hacking stuff, where I want to make it where you're earning a token on like a tick for in the beginning. Just it also jumpstarts the ecosystem, but and
Totally.
this is very similar to back in the early days when you would have and I don't know if you guys do it or not, where you would tip people for being in the Discord, and like attending the either the interviews or whatever. But this is
Totally.
very similar, but just automated, where if you're at the event, and you're obviously you're a real person, we have a way to kind of make sure that's the case. But you're earning tokens, and the system can actually evolve into where you can give out your own native tokens in the future as well. But it'll be our tokens
Nice.
freely given to people in the beginning. And the other thing to encourage exploration of public areas is these randomized drop boxes that kind of fall from the sky, and they can collect our early run of furniture and stuff. So I'm gonna bust through this next part. It's personalized characters, which it's a little bit different now, just because our characters are not like this any longer. But here you can see, like we would be allowing you to bring on your collection. So Meebits is a good example of a collection. So if you're a zone owner, you get kind of like first access for that, but we're going to be doing that on a strategic basis as well. And then we'll do custom kind of one-off ones for influencers, so they have that recognizability. So you can imagine if this looks like Mr. Beast or something, and someone sees him out in the, public space. Like that's a kind of experience that I want to facilitate, because your chances of seeing them in person are this slim, but you have a much higher chance of seeing them in character form in our game, or either on the screen and stuff. So being able to have that happen is pretty special.
Yeah.
For me, I think a lot of people will be like, "Oh man, such and such visited my room," and you can look at the room log and see they came and left at this
Totally.
time, and it's just a wild thing that I want to kind of see pan out here. So virtual properties, I want to get into on the other screens, but you can just see that we're really going heavy into you owning slices of actual structures that are permanent in our world, than going the other route where people are like, okay, let me give you like an example with Decentraland, and what I was talking to Trizlet about is like the learning curve to even like um, put things into the world. It was too high for me to even like stick around with my ADD to even build anything cool. But so that's kind of like why we do all the structure and we get you all the way to your own private space. But within now you just decorate it with all the things that you own. So, but you get to have that like immediate interaction with the virtual space, utilizing things you already own and stuff like that. Um, but and then even with Sandbox, you have to learn their proprietary editing, like to do this. I think the bar's a little bit lower, but still, I believe there needs to be kind of a plug and play sort of approach to this where we get you all the way up into it's almost like we're more of like a Minecraft approach than a hey, we want you to be a developer and figure it all out yourself. So we don't put as much pressure on the end user to sort of do the things. So this is kind of an example of a private space where you can kind of do the things, and all the UI is a lot more refreshed now. But you can get an idea like what the furniture is like and things like that. And obviously we want to do really cool partnerships with real world brands as they come. But also I think I mean, you can do that, or you can really chase these, I don't know, like I've sort of wrestled with myself because I'm not all about just feeding corporations. Like I want to do right by the people who've been in this space. So when I talk about like, getting like these giant, already, filthy, rich brands on board, I always have like a twinge. So I don't know, that's all that is there. But like I don't know, like Super Yetis, for instance, and getting them on board and stuff. Like they're just like an overlooked project, but they've been here for so long. Like I get more
Totally.
excited about that than getting a Nike Dunks. But I want to also get a massive variety so people can really personalize their look of their rooms, their look of their character, because that's a big deal. So yeah, you can.
Right.
We have wearables and stuff that we allow. Let me know if I'm boring
So
anyone. There's a lot. There's a lot here.
no, this is all super interesting. I'm sure we'll start getting questions too. But I wanted to just ask real quick when you were going into wearables. So like for UGC, you had said that kind of in the beginning you had said that you want to be more it was like kind of controlled or high quality across the board. So
Curated. Yeah.
when you're curated, yeah. So there will be maybe like in the early days of crypto voxels, you had to have your wearables approved.
Yeah.
Um, but say for Nifty Island, you could just go put anything in the marketplace right now, like anything,
Yeah.
right? So like there's going to be probably something in between, I would assume,
There so if you are if you have a promoter group on our platform, there is an approval process for that. Just us making sure you're a real person. But putting things in your merchandise store is a lot easier. When it comes to items, like they're just labeled differently is sort of the thing there. But if you want to have just like a partnership item released in the storefront, that would probably be a little bit more of an approval process there. Like there's a Roblox approach where it's kind of like almost like a even Roblox don't isn't that an approval too? I can't remember. I'm trying to
yeah,
think.
yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to be like an approved creator, I think.
I see you on there sometimes. If I'm glad you know that. So yeah, I get it, it really so I don't want to like hurt anyone's, I guess, not hurt, but I don't want anyone to think negatively about the platform because we're not like opened wide open. It's more like we want to protect the collectors that decide to collect with us because scarcity is such an important factor that we want to be involved in anything that does get released. Um, and it's not to say that we're not going to have a lot of things available to, and we also open up to, collections that already exist and stuff, and also create items that make it where the stuff that you have looks really great in our game. But when it comes to just opening the floodgates, we do want to have that throttled in a way to just protect the collectors, and that's kind of the best way
Uh,
I can explain that.
that makes sense. I think it's advantageous to have some kind of like barrier, so you don't just
Yeah,
get like shit postings of assets that are like, just kind of useless. Like you want to
yeah,
have valuable stuff in there, but and it is like you'll get, I'm sure there'll be some people that would say, "Oh no, it should just be like everything should be completely open and
I
anybody does
used
whatever
to.
they want."
Yeah, I
Nah,
had. I thought that for a while, to be honest with you, and it just doesn't pan out well
it
for the
can,
ecosystem. It really
right.
muddies the waters, and ultimately, we want to be a fully decentralized platform. But even in that scenario, you're gonna have people in place to do the, the whole checks and balances, if you will. There has to be, people saying yes, this works, yes, this doesn't, like elected officials, if you will. That does
Hmm.
work. It obviously has worked, in our democracy, at least up until this point. No, I'm kidding.
Well, it's nice thinking about because you're talking about bringing on brands and things like that. Like I don't know. Well, let's see. We've got traditional like live brands, but then we have brands that have built up in in the metaverse and Web3
Hmm.
things. Like Token Smart is a brand. Like we're say if we were gonna come on, Token Smart is gonna have our own build, and it's like
Yeah.
maybe I that's how I think a partnership should properly be thought of. Like if Token Smart is going to be a partner on this project, have their own thing, and then Token Smart is going to create an object within it, then
Oh
it's
yeah.
on Token Smart to make sure it meets your requirements. And if it doesn't, then now it's on
Yep.
us. It's not your
Mm,
fault. Like maybe we lose our partner status because we started minting stuff that doesn't meet your expectations. Like that's a way to keep it open,
right.
but
Yeah, yeah.
still
Yeah,
protected.
if anyone owns a zone, like that conversation is so much easier than someone else just coming off. And there actually is a bit of a barrier to entry with the whole zone ownership. It's quite expensive to acquire one. Of course, we have some set aside for different things, but that alone really kind of buffers the entry point for people who aren't in it for the right reasons. So
I
there's
mean,
a
to
few
your
more.
point about being
Yeah.
here forever, it's funny because CryptoVoxel's actually with wearables because Ben hired me to be I was the original person who
Oh,
decided what
you
got minted and what didn't. So I I remember
you
my
were
Oh
the
wow.
filter.
Did you
yeah
ever, you proved my burb. I have a lot of burbs on CryptoVoxels, and I
yeah.
guarantee you're the one who approved that.
But
Um
I remember getting into like I feel like I'm pretty nice and I try to be like, but there was a lot of very blatant copyright issues. There's like some really
ah
low quality crap that kept coming
yeah.
through.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so
Hmm.
I'd have to be like, what the heck? Like, you didn't even try here. And I'd have to like reach back out and be like, what is this? And they're like,
Yeah.
who are you to say? I'm like, you're right. Not like, maybe this
You're
is
all, I'm the only one that
right.
gets
I
to
am
say.
God. But yeah, it's like, I don't know
Well,
where the right medium is,
and
right?
the other thing though is that this is just the approach we take, is that we are almost more oriented towards being a platform for creators who don't necessarily, not like the design kind of creators, but like the influencers and the communities, and the we try to offset that. And I get, I don't even know how to really say this, but we put more emphasis on being a white glove solution to NFTs and things like that. Like we have our own design team, and we plan to scale that design team, especially when it comes to environments and items. Some of those items can be templated, especially, and then we can slap your brand on it. We can do more custom stuff, but we could probably churn it out a lot quicker, just because we have the pipeline that's done it a bunch of times. And then I just have a feeling that people will like what we're or how we're building things out. Even with items coming into our world, like they're even just for continuity and consistency, they will be rendered in a way that is aesthetically the same as everything else in our world, which is kind of flat and thick lines, and it's really almost like Into the Spider-Verse kind of look to it. If you've ever seen that, it's really cool. I think it's pretty timeless, and hopefully my biases doesn't make people mad. Uh, but like,
How
sorry, go ahead.
So that's awesome. I like that you guys have that standard look to bring everything in. I mean, that's something that intrigues me. Like, how do you take like a VRM that's some blocky little misfit pixel or something, and then adapt it so that it's
Our engine does
has
it.
that look?
Our
It
our
does. That's
engine,
pretty
our little engine, just kind of re-renders it in our format.
cool.
And so if it's a 3D item, it'll, and obviously if it looks jank, we're gonna like spend a little extra time, but it gets us like 99% of the way there, even with characters. Like we have a partnership with Retro Doges, and it looks different but fantastic in our platform. Everyone's happy with the outlook, and I think the consistency there it was a hard decision, but ultimately we just consistency is important, and I think people will appreciate it. And this isn't it, by the way. This is an old um, brand and renderings. So I won't get into the roadmap. It's a lot of cool stuff. And then the only thing I do want to touch on is the fact that we saved the blockchain aspects for midway through phase 2. I want to stay centralized for the first uh, bit of the project for several reasons. I want to spend a lot of time nailing down the system before we get our contracts out there, spend money on auditing and having to do revisions and things. Like I really want to get a system that the community like falls in love with, and then go heavy into the blockchain. The other thing is that it just time in the blockchain is like, like dog years or whatever. It's just so much
Oh
can
yeah.
change in terms of tech that I don't know if my decision now would be different with what's available when we get to that point. So I want to just get really um, I had my sights set on immutable, and I thought that'd be great. Obviously, it's got to be a layer 2, and then gasless, pretty much like gasless. When I say
Yeah.
that, we would basically be fronting that similar to how Friendtech did it. And until we can do that and it feasibly makes sense, like I don't want to have blockchain. And to be quite honest, like the the mm, uh, the bigger chunk of people don't care about blockchain. And even now, if you say NFT, there's a negative stigma behind it. If you say metaverse, there's kind of a negative stigma. People got burnt already, so we don't even use that in the platform. But when we do have blockchain, it is going to be um, all. It's like blockchain on the back end is the best way I can explain it. They get all the benefits of
Right.
true ownership, transparency, provenance, stuff like that. But they don't even know it. They just get eased into this idea of blockchain, and then before they know it, they're in love. Hopefully, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't be. Like, it's just I feel like most people just don't understand it. That's why they have pitchforks out. Like, it's whatever.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, every gamer I've ever talked to, when they start telling me they don't like NFTs, I'm like, I don't understand
they don't like themselves. It's
how.
got to be like you don't want to own
Like
things. Like you don't want to have
Right.
the
you're
promise
already
of
doing this like every
yeah.
day. If you're playing CS:GO or some other thing, you're already
Yeah,
doing
knowing your
this.
server can be shut down, all the money that you've dumped into it, like obsolete. Like you already signed something where they can do it. It doesn't even matter. Like I think they do it for the recent Battlefield game or something where there was they re someone knows about that, but it was something
There.
along.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, it's
Gamers
funny
were.
thinking back, is yeah, Vitalik always like people always talk about that. Like the whole reason he made Ethereum is
Yeah,
because
it's
his
the
Warlock
Warlock.
got nerfed.
Yeah, it was
It's like I
a
remember playing World of
siphoning
Warcraft.
spell. Yeah.
Right, like the minute I read that, I'm like, I played World of Warcraft at the time. In fact, actually, I got an account banned because I had a bot that was farming gold.
Well,
I'm like, okay, I
yeah,
deserve to get banned probably,
yeah. Oh no.
but it was like, like I did
My
sign the thing, but I didn't read the boilerplate until after I
yeah,
got banned. And I'm
Of
like, oh crap, I
course.
did
exactly.
sign that. Yeah,
my my frustration came way earlier in a different realm, which was MySpace, which is I saw my wife at a church, but I followed up on MySpace by posting a bulletin, and I had, and then we started. I wrote on her wall a bunch and whatever, and it was just really special and something that was my data, right? And then going back there and really realizing that it's all gone, and I had nothing. Like that. It's like they stole my history, and I felt
Mm.
just so, you know, like that. It's just the injustice there. Was to me inconceivable, and I guess that's what started on this. Like it makes me hesitant to play games that are, I know one day will just be gone and all the effort poured in. And I do believe that time should be rewarded, and doesn't matter what that time is being invested in. Like there's value in that. Attention is valuable. And people don't understand how much though, and they just give it away for nothing. To be the end product, for like social media, you are the product. So, um, you know, I don't think this revolution has necessarily started and people's standards on things have gone up as they should, but I hope somebody becomes an outlier in terms of a product and gives back more than people expect. And hopefully that's us. And then again, getting back to the main point is like, we want to be a decentralized, we're just decentrally oriented. So that's where we're headed. Whether it's the first thing we do, it doesn't matter, because I'm saying that like that's what the goal is, to be completely decentralized. That way, that 100 years from now, everything in this game has a very, very high chance of still existing. That way, your children's can benefit from the time that you spent, because you can pass it down, and maybe they'll cash out one day. But your legacy essentially can be started in a place, because they cared about the future, not just the quick payout that you see all these freaking people from Silicon Valley coming in and siphoning away the true, what's the word? What is it? Because I remember whenever it happened,
Essence
the
or
essence. They
essence.
just came in and jacked things up the first time. Um,
Yeah.
Well, it's
and
funny because the latest talk is all this Veblen good talk. It's one of those things like things are valuable because they're valuable. It's like whether you believe they are or not. Like there's a buyer. Like, yeah, it'd be interesting 3 or 4 generations down the road if your great grandkid still has the gold couch, the gold OG couch in that Hubs apartment that Grandpa
yeah,
built. That'd
I
be hilarious.
Right.
I actually, so that when I worked for Terra Virtua and we did a run for Paramount Pictures for Top Gun helmets, and I was trying to explain why a virtual Top Gun helmet, which looks beautiful in virtual reality, like I still think their quality is insanely good. But I was like, your replica of that Top Gun helmet is going to turn into dust, while this one will never collect dust. It'll be forever, accessible, and available, and obviously valuable than your dust pile. And so, like, my argument was that this is going to exist, and it will out exist your physicals, and that is very valuable because the provenance is there, saying that this is the owner, this is how much it was sold for, and the time and everything like that. Like, you can't compete with that. And physicals can benefit too from that tech, but ultimately I think there's something to say about NFTs and their longevity. So
There's
and
positives to that. I know I like physical collectibles. I collected Magic cards all through school.
hmm
Like I remember Pokemon and stuff, but I'm like, yeah, nobody's like I'll still have point I'll have an OG Hubs couch, down the road. It won't be a Charizard card that my kid found and stuck in the spokes of his bike to make a
yeah,
motorcycle switch.
unless you have a way to like import things that have a barcode that can, and stuff like
Right.
that. And
Yeah.
I hope more things are allowed, or more people do that. But yeah, I think we're in a good place. And this, I'll use the cheesy term, of being early, because I don't feel like a lot of people understand that concept yet. So to me, people don't understand that, then we must be still early, because it should be old news by now. Like, yeah, NFTs can live
Right.
forever if the chain's supported. So, and I don't feel like these chains are going to go away. Like, there's too many people who have a stake in the game, for it just to kind of like slowly wither away. So, I mean, I say I have 100-year test, but like, for even when I choose on when I like, for instance, I won't touch Solana. Sorry to anyone who likes Solana, but it fails my 100-year test. Like it has too many points of failure that could make it where it won't last to 100 years. Anyway, so that's besides the point. But yeah, so I think 100 years is even like a low criteria in terms of the blockchain, in terms of like, anyway.
If
So
you're, yeah, I mean, if you're looking at something as a long-term investment, say, wouldn't you want it to last more than 100 years?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, for sure, and
I
especially
would.
if you ever use the term generational wealth, then you should be thinking in those sorts of criteria. Like if you have kids, set them up for success, and every decision you make will echo in the right or wrong direction, I guess you could say. So I feel like
Right.
this has the highest potential for a really great big echo, or a ripple, or whatever
Well,
you want to call it.
It's fun thinking about the early adopter designation because it's cool, it's fun, and it's exciting because this is stuff you've never seen before. But I actually just had to have a conversation with my son. He's 12, and we got him a 3D printer, and he's trying to figure out Blender and trying to do stuff. And he
Hmm.
comes to me constantly, "Hey, this isn't working. What the hell? Like, oh, the nozzle
hmm.
clogged. This thing. What the hell? Like, we just spent a lot of money on this. Why isn't this working?" And I'll go
Right.
up and like, a problem with being an early adopter is most of this stuff doesn't work and it
Yeah.
randomly breaks for no
True.
reason over and over and
Yeah.
over
Yeah.
again. The UI
Yeah.
is horrible. This is
And you
stuff
have to
that
just tinker.
right.
Yeah, you have
And
to
if you're
get
not
involved,
okay with
basically.
that, then you should stay away for the next 10
Yeah.
years and then come back.
What did Whale
That's what
Shark
you
said
should do.
something? Whale Shark in the earlier times said like it's probably a common saying, but he's like the first to break through a brick wall always gets bloodied, and I'm like that's pretty good. I can see that.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
resonate. Like this like has been a painful process for me mentally to really kind of churn out, and it's mainly because I had to be wrong so many times. And iterate to kind of like get to a point where I'm like, no, this feels right, and the responses are consistent finally. And I don't know, like I didn't it's just been it's been like a process for me too, man, like because I get these
Dude,
like doing this type of stuff, it's like having a child over and over and then just having to let them go because they suck.
fair, fairly massive undertaking.
Yeah. Man,
um,
um
I'm proud of you for sticking to it because
thank you.
that
yeah,
takes some serious guts, balls of steel, all
ab-
that shit, like because it's
absolutely.
Well,
ridiculous.
I mean, I've got if I didn't have my wife, who supports my crazy, ventures like this, and does the fills in the gaps when like, and puts up with my stress, some not like, obviously, like I just get stressed and I isolate, and or I'll get isolated in the work, so it's almost like I'm here but not here. Like she kind of has
Hmm.
been through those cycles with this and other things as well, but to get to this point, and my big thing is like like all I think about is making it all worth it, and that's what keeps me coming back, even though it's like you've already went so far down this like hole. Like the best thing you can do is make it all worth it because you're not going backwards. And so there's a saying, I think, I don't know, I may have even tweeted it today, but like you can't lose if you um the only way you can lose is if you retreat, or actually I have it. It's only when you stop trying that you truly fail. I have a little thing on my wall that does that. So it's really
Nice.
just about staying in the game. I mean, even with trading, they say it's not about timing the market; it's about time in the market. Um,
Isn't
that
that
you
how
know,
compound interest works? I know the whole it's so
ah,
Hmm.
annoying.
dollar cost averaging. I don't know the
It's so
lingo.
annoying talking about it because everybody's like, "Oh, what the hell do you mean I got to sit here for 10 years?" I'm like, "That's what it
Yeah,
means.
You
It means you
can't
keep
lose if you don't
building,
that's
sell.
right? It
Yeah.
gets further and further along." That's
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, like I had this actually explains the whole breakdown of the venues, public spaces, and private spaces. Like this whole concept of just breaking into these little three separate parts. It seems simple, but it came from a complex place and then went back down to simple. And this was the best way I could really get it. Maybe the terms will switch one day to maybe make it a little easier. Sorry, my phone went off. Well, this is where I landed. Venues again. That's where events are scheduled. You don't really explore the venues if there's nothing going on, just like you wouldn't do that, I guess, in a normal real world. A lot of stuff in this game, it's mimicking like real world stuff. I was wrestling if we should have bathrooms, and I'm like, our characters don't use the bathroom. It makes no sense. This is gonna be a waste of space. But I did think about it, like because
True,
I want to be
but
really
But adding
close.
them in is always that inside joke whenever I'm in a metaverse type build somewhere. Whenever you
It
see a
would be
bathroom with
funny.
working toilet and sink, you're like,
You,
totally.
yeah.
I'm sure
That's
I'll
like
hide one somewhere.
yeah, you got or some
Or Easter
portalets or
egg.
something, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, some little
I
portalets out of the side of the venue.
it would be fun. But the thing about it is like space is a really important thing in this game. Like every tile is accounted for.
Right.
I use a Cartesian coordinate system. You can see here it goes like has the 1 or the -1 for the x, and then you got the y. So our little tile here again, which is 64 by 64, and this little person here, that is, true size, like you see on a cereal box, except it says not actual size. This is actual size, um, and that's how big these zones are. And it actually took a while to figure out like what makes sense in terms of that we can scale. Like we can tell I don't like to say client, but like a brand or community that acquired a zone, right? Like that we can say, okay, we can have your thing up and running in 2 weeks or less with our design guys and stuff. And this is that size. Like you can have 3 separate buildings if you want, or and I'll skip ahead and blow your minds a little bit. Uh, Boom, and there is a color version coming soon. But so
Dope.
this is our hubs tower, which you can see there's the seating, and this is the different angle. Like so this is obviously scary, but this is the angle that you're viewing from. Everything's isometric, but you have the seating, then the stadium seating, you got your screen, and then you got your fancy VIP section, and then here's your merchandise booth. This is actually a garage door, which in my brain I'm like, they can have the stuff they bring out on stage from there, and they have the stairs. You got our little neon sign. This is actually the hub's offices up top here, where you can visit, just like a co-working space, 24 hours a day. Or not 24, geez, 8 hours a day. I'll be there. You can jump in and chat with me and stuff like that. And the merch booth is actually what it is, where you can use your stubs to kind of trade, but you can do that in the user interface as well. Here's where you have like the elevators. I didn't ask. Can you guys see my mouse?
Actually, no, I'm not
No,
seeing your
the
Oh
mouse
my
shouldn't. But
I'm like
I'm
so
following along.
animated. I'm so animated with my mouse, and I have been this whole time, and now I'm being told no one can
that's
see
a
my
good point.
mouse.
I can picture what you're talking
That's
I
about just
good.
because I
yeah, I was
um,
basically doing with my mouse what I thought you'd be doing with your
Good,
mouse.
very
So
good. Next time I'll bring a laser pointer. I don't know, but anyway, there's places like on the wall. You can't really see it, but oh, my camera's acting weird. They're like billboards. So if different events, you can post up different things that can link back. Again, that's actually I probably got that subconsciously from Crypto Voxels, where they had items in there that you could click on, or there'd be something with a written link to get the Pope or something. This could easily be an innovative twist of that, but it's like a billboard where you can click on it, upload an image for the event, so you can be like, this person's gonna be
nice.
on stage and stuff like that. So there's that. Let me get back to here. And so that's all built here in this big old zone tile. So this would obviously have a huge tower in the middle of it for hours. And if we have some extra space, I haven't done the math there, we may do a few things around the side. But yeah, within our tower, to finish talking about it, you'll notice there's like rooms below it. And though each one of those rooms are going to be owned by a player, down to the, like, for instance, one tile on top of another tile would be like 2 feet, and the average home ceiling height is 9 feet. So you'd probably have an average of 9 tiles, upward. And then so all of that information is going to be available on the blockchain again, so we can have the longevity and stuff. And if for whatever reason we're not able to sustain the server, someone else can pick it up and do their version and have who owns who with what wallet, to be able to be claimed and carried on. But for this, it's like, to me, one of the most important things is the interconnectedness of the virtual world. So you can either do it a couple ways. You can use your URL to teleport directly to a person's room, and even further, you can teleport directly to a tile because it's all mapped out within someone's room, or a tile where on top of this roof, if there's an event going on, like, you can share that with someone. Or you can go down the elevator, go to the hallway, walk down the hallway where you got you and your best mate's room across from each other, and you have that close connected experience, and you'd be less likely to sell the room if because of the proximity and the specialness behind it. Or you may want to, like, try and buy someone's room because of the proximity, but we have that done. Like, you could have your whole community buy out a whole floor on our hubs tower, which is probably going to be some of the most premium properties within the game. But it has the true connectedness to the world itself. And it's not just an obscure floating room in your browser. It's actually part of the world, and that. And so anyway, that's kind of the spiel there. And one of the most important factors I wanted to try to accomplish within here is making people feel like they're actually part of a bigger world, an open world that they can go out and explore, but also own a piece of. And I hope that shows. Oh man, too far ahead. I showed the
Woo.
creatures.
Some alpha for anybody watching.
Yeah,
Okay.
Nice.
that's I'm super pumped about that. So
One thing you just said about if you guys,
Mhm.
if something goes down, somebody else can run with it and stuff. Are you planning on sort of like open sourcing the server, or letting other people host this or connect to it as like that?
So there's some options there, and I think I'm definitely alluding to, like, the longer term, just because I want people, how anyone spending money in here, I want them to know that have passed the 100-year test or whatever. And the only way you can pass that is if you allow the ability for your game to be picked up and ran with someone else's server. So that's sort of the reason there. There is so yes is the answer. Like, anyone can, because that's the thing, is like, we want to create the best experience possible for not only NFTs in a marketplace, but to experience NFTs in a virtual world. Like, we want to give utility and beyond. And so, the fact about crypto and things being on chain is you're battling, because the thing is, if it's like you're only making money by people using and selling within your marketplace, like OpenSea gets 2.5% or whatever, they have to make they have to always be thinking, we have to be the best marketplace, we have to give the end user everything they want, so they keep their stuff here, so they sell here, they do things here. Well, that's the thing that we want to do, is we want to be the best at everything, so people choose us. And best case scenario, people are using our engine, using our, and utilizing our ecosystem, so we can stay afloat and, be able to afford a team and like, whatever it is, support and, innovation, things like that, but just grow. And but the truth is like, you have to try and strive to be the best, because it is an open, like, this is kind of a that's just how crypto is inherently.
Yeah, well, it's funny where you guys are trying to make the best you can, but let's say I somehow get Taylor Swift to agree to do a concert in a spot that I have. It's going to bring 100 million people there. And I'm like, I know you might not have the resource to do that. If I somehow got that, I would probably have the money to spin up my own
Yeah, and
version that
it's
can
it's
handle that.
interesting.
Like
It's
that's
interesting you mention it, about. I mean, that I have talked to people building some really, really massive things, and I almost have a number in my head for what that would cost, and I'm like, I don't even want to spend it.
right.
Mhm.
Well, I wouldn't want you to either, right? Like
Yeah.
if I'm saying I can sell this to somebody and I'm taking a cut and I'm doing all
Yeah,
because I'm
and
the
and
agent.
that's the thing, is I actually am reluctantly okay with that. because I have to be, because that is the name of the game, where I don't want to prevent people from kind of doing what I'm doing and just making things better. It's innovation at its finest. And honestly, like it, I mean, I would be hard pressed to think someone can just, I mean, I guess if they literally cloned everything, there is going to be some secret sauce, if you will, but it's not going to be, you know, a situation where they could never, you know, take the data we have and spin up their own thing. And again, that's something we would want. It's really just, I don't know even how to answer that, because even when it comes to there, we don't even make it where you can throw something technically that big within our world. We actually have a like a system or algorithm, or not really an algorithm, but the amount of tile space available in that vicinity, only a percentage, just like your fire safety mechanisms work or whatever. You know, you can only have so many people in a building, and then you have to have
Yeah.
double doors, making sure they're like, it's kind of like that, but it works in our favor as well, and it also gives the exclusive access kind of feeling. And then we also have a like a wait list though to get into places, and you may not get in there,
Ooh.
but I know it's crazy, but it solves several problems, and I landed here because of the fact that we're more of a premium experience, and we also want people to buy bigger things to be able to host bigger things. I mean, it's also why we have 4 zones set aside right here for the Hubs Arena, so we can actually facilitate like really really massive things. But there is the whole aspect of, we're giving a premium, like being involved or being a part of something like that. It's not like an infinite amount of people can get in there. If you're in there, it's a special thing for you. It's a special thing that you get the stub. It's a special thing that you get the recording, and you're on like the list of the people who attended it. But just like in the real world, not everyone and their mom can go to an event and do the thing. And so even when it comes to like private spaces and stuff, I don't know, this is not really like answering your question, obviously.
Well,
I
no, it
kind of
is actually, you know,
uh
and it actually brings up a really cool, like, I don't know if it's a philosophy type or like mental model of thinking around, because what we can do in a decentralized, you know, Web3 world and stuff, like people talk about scarcity, why it's valuable, why it's cool, why it's like, hey, look, I'm a part of the in crowd, right? Like what makes me part of this is that I got in. Like, yeah, let's say you were able to get like some huge name band artist that usually has a million people attend, but it's like they're doing it here. It's like, you know,
And there's only
only
a couple
only 100
thousand
people, or
or
yeah,
a
only a
yeah.
hundred.
thousand people are
Yeah,
going to be able to fit in. So it's like,
makes it
yeah,
super
these
valuable.
right. So even though that artist, because it's funny, I've been in some Twitter space and I have some people in the industry, in the music industry, and they're talking about like some big name artists, and they're like, so if I brought this guy to you, what are you going to do? I'm like, I don't know, because
Booty
I'm like,
plug.
right, if
Well,
they
Well, that would break everything.
there
right.
there there is another angle though, in that like we can be almost like an accessory to an event, like a live event somewhere else, where they're streaming the live event into this world. We can be like an accessory to even your Twitch stream or your Kick stream, where you know you have those tens of thousands of people watching you, you know, at the same time chatting, but it also can be broadcasted here as well. So it can be
Kind of
seen
a
that way.
VIP.
You see,
Yeah.
this
It
is
could
So
the
be like a
sort of
VIP virtual space. I
when
mean,
people
yeah.
talk about
if you
them,
had a
yeah,
Well,
this whole
yeah.
metaverse concept is like, it just, people see it as a video game, like, oh, we're all going to play Fortnite together. I'm like, that's not necessarily what it means. Metaverses
Yeah.
means that it's like an audience in either physical place, in this virtual reality, and this other virtual reality, in this video game and stuff, they somehow can interact with each other. Like,
And
that's a
yeah, well,
metaverse.
that's
That's
actually, I feel like what we're doing is the first logical step towards the metaverse that meets not only the tech, but people where they are in terms of adopting that sort of technology. Because it's something I haven't mentioned yet, is the way that we're building this out is we want to be able to have it where you can not only, you know, explore in this isometric way on your mobile phone or your desktop very easily, but eventually you'll be able to do the same thing in virtual reality, where you can have the full range of motion, which I thought what's going to be amazing when this finally happens is when you're looking down at your phone and you know half the people in that room have the virtual reality because they have all the crazy movements and stuff. And it's just like I've never had that, connected experience from Palm to they're in the virtual reality, but I'm looking at them down into it's just a wild thing to think of. But that's what I want to facilitate, not only for the people putting on the events. However, they will be the first to have access to that technology because it's already like expected at this point. You don't want just a person standing on stage, even if they have a webcam with them on it in the background. You want them to have the full range of motion that isn't just like, pre-defined movements. You want them to have that actual like hands, the head, the walking around. And a lot of times when they do these metaverse things, even in the Fortnite, they'll have them green dotted up and in a studio. Well, now with there's several different options with the technology. You can even have a camera faced at you on your phone, and you can have the full range of motion, or you can be using the latest Oculus headset with the AR on it, where it can detect your movements. And that's probably the approach that we're probably gonna test both of them out, but ultimately we want to give that immersive experience and continue to as the tech rolls out, we want to kind of like adopt it into our system again to keep people there and continue to boost up the return value. So that is something I think is very cool. And like I said, the way that we're doing it though is like a slow ease into this idea of the metaverse, where it's less of a game and more of a social application. However, it does have the game-like aesthetics to it, but the way that we've sort of done everything, even with the graphics and such, it's not so like abrasive. Even what a lot of platforms are doing wrong is having it where you have to use like both of your thumbs to look around and stuff like that. Yes, it's
Yeah.
cool. I think it's very cool, but I don't feel like it's just too much of a mental load. Like in terms of like moving around and stuff, like why are you making people work so hard to look at an art show when you could do an isometric view, let them click around, let them click on the art, it becomes full screen, close it out, let them be able to interact with people, and then like really, really easily. And if they want the more immersive, they can, and that'll come later. But we want to hit the masses first, and where the masses are at, they're using social media. So we want to, and I'll get into the UI here in a second. Wow, I'm already like an hour in, but I don't count easy technical
That's right.
difficulties.
Well, I'd love to
True.
if you, I'm just like we work with some people. One is that you might really like on Thursday nights. We have it's called Meta Jack's event where so Jack's Hideaway it's a jazz club in California basically, and he has like shows pretty often. But every Thursday night he has a scheduled show, and he has his camera crew stream it to
Yeah.
YouTube and some other ones, and we play it here. But we also have a couple crypto voxels parcels that we'll stream it on the screens there, so we
That's
have our
cool.
avatars go there, and he'll have the crypto voxels view show on the background screens behind the musicians in his club, so the people who are
That's
there
sick.
having drink and
like
dinner
that.
can see what we're doing. Like that's
Yeah.
a fun like prototype
Yeah.
That's more.
hybrid model to get like
That's yeah.
It's
I'd love to
metaverse.
see it like work in this sort of situation. Like I'm like,
And
man, you could
I'll show
double, you
you
could
the
make it.
demo here in a second.
Yeah.
I won't get into I guess the money stuff. I will say one thing like in terms of the properties and such, is that there was one issue that I found that happened in Decentraland where you would have someone who maybe owned either what do you call it when you put the parcels together? Now it's like escaping me. You like combine the
4x4. I don't know.
yeah,
Estates. Yeah,
estate.
Oh,
Yeah, you have
estate.
the
yeah.
estates. Yeah. So like it could be a parcel or an estate, but what has happened is that someone will lose their access to that wallet, and it's gone forever, and it will never be developed. And I'm like, that's a problem. Like having forever abandoned areas in a game, like that can't happen in my opinion. And it actually gave for a pretty interesting opportunity, especially if you are a zone owner. You can set the what I call the property owner association fee, which is essentially similar to how ENS is set up, but you get a monthly return on all these properties. And I know it sounds bad at face value, but imagine like the scenario where you lose access to the wallet and you're tight with the admin owner, and it's only bought out to, like, let's say 6 months or something like that. 6 months ahead in the future, he can just send it back to you. Or if you just decide to abandon the platform, that the admin of the zone can relist and then have that, someone else who wants it more. But it also gives a constant revenue stream for communities, and depending on what they set, if it's a crypto punks community and they want to just jack up the prices because they're most of the people are just wealthy and they want just the upper tier to have places, they can, but it basically allows them to fund other things either within the world, paying people to come and do stuff in their venues and stuff, but it just is a revenue source that ends up solving a problem and more, especially when it comes to me selling zones, because I can actually give them projections where they can get the return on the money that they're spending to have the zone. And so anyway, but that's if they choose to go. They can go down 3 different routes here. They can allocate all of their building blocks, if you will, to private spaces. They can allocate, let's say if they're a big brand and they don't care about giving ownership to people and they don't care about hosting events because they don't have time, but they still want to showboat their brand and flex a little bit. I don't know, like let's say it's Coca-Cola. I would see them just allocating a full zone for public spaces for anyone to come in and just socialize, and they can have their billboards and whatever and branded everything. And so there's options that people have for whatever flavor of business and stuff
Right.
there.
Coca-Cola Park.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I don't count that out of,
Yeah.
of the possibilities. So yeah, there's that.
It's funny that you have like such a visceral like reaction to that.
It is, and
The
it's
harbinger
because
tax type thought process, right? Because everybody
well,
hates
there's
it. Huh?
I've just found I've a lot of things I've found peace with because I think I understood the value even within our system. Like, because and that's why I even changed the terms to a more, instead of even using the term tax, I said, like HOAs. If you live in a subdivision, this is just
Yeah.
a spin-off of HOAs. Like,
Hmm.
and that's friendly. No, everyone understands that. You gotta pay is whatever.
But
So
see, like all this stuff, like this, there's tools in the community. There's things like I don't know, maybe when like some of the money that goes to that goes not necessarily or portions of it go to the community projects or something that people who
yeah,
own the
or
things like
um,
you can play
yeah.
with that a lot here.
Imagine if somebody like actually, like, let's say, manned a booth within your world to answer questions. Like, so let's just hypothetically say you decided to use this instead of Discord, and you wanted to have moderators always there, available, beyond just like a text on a screen and an avatar, but actually have them, manning a spot, just like someone at a register and when you're checking out at a grocery store. Like, you would have funds to actually give them to do those things that aren't coming out of your budget from elsewhere to do it. So now it's like an ecosystem built into itself where that actually makes sense, and you can do it for as long as you want to because the money's always going to be coming there as long as you have active tenants and as long as your brand's doing well or your community, and things like that. So it does. There's just a lot of different opportunities there when there's a money flow, and we don't take any percentage of that. Like, that's all for, and if they can do it however they want. They can do it the lowest amount, or because we obviously need a low amount, a minimum, but they can decide on their own. And same with these other things. If they want to have 2.5% on the secondary market for the properties being sold that are within their zone, they can. They don't have to. They can decide if they want to have percentage of the ticket sales and the paid reactions, but they don't have to. And so it's really modular, and that's how we like to keep it or have set it up. Um, so that's the quick and skinny. There's actually, like, I know I skipped over a bunch. Like, I feel like it would take 2.5 hours to really deliver the full scope of everything that's sort of going on. But I want to jump into this little guy here, which is cute as ever.
Nice.
I don't have a name for him. I'm thinking of like Robuddy or something really to match his aesthetic. But one big thing that I want to try and do, and I always talk about, I don't know, like candy bars. This is interesting, but like there's not enough innovation in the world of candy bars. Like candy bars have, you got your Butterfingers, your Snickers, or whatever, but they've just dominated. There's never like innovation, and I think of the same way about franchises like your Marvel and your DC and things. I've talked to people who have much bigger and awesome worlds, but back in, they just never had the budget to be blasted in your face 24/7 when you were a child, so they're gonna probably die in obscurity. And so I really want to have a really solid foundation for franchises to be birthed and new things to be discovered. And so that also falls in line with our own franchise pretty much, and not necessarily like having lore or things like that, but these characters are going to be like our intellectual property, and a thing that one day I would love to make a toy of, like a really high quality toy. But these guys, and so there's that. But boom. So as you can see, they're rather like bare, and you may have seen the photo that I posted on Twitter, right? The recently, it was did you any but either you reposted it, easy, but
Yeah.
it's essentially what one of these guys looks like when he's, this is like him like naked pretty much. um but there's like a lot of room, like they have, like, these are the guys that you customize, that you get to randomize when you first jump in the game. But they wear the apparel, the shoes, and they also, the way the eyebrows look is like, and then like a mustache, or like the hair. You guys know what the boat keychains feel like, or have you ever had a boat keychain with the squishiness
Oh,
to it, or
yeah, yeah.
that is like, that's what the hair, the hands, and the feet feel like. And I don't know why, but like I don't know if it's something happened in my childhood where I just loved those things. But if you're a founder, you can make these weird decisions. That was mine. But
Nice.
the hair, so the facial hair and everything will all be like that, and that's the aesthetic. We're gonna make it where you can adjust the accent colors. You can see this one is red. Most likely match your chat bubble. But yeah, if
I
you were
just
able to,
posted that picture in the live chat one. I
oh,
found it on over on Twitter.
sweet,
New
yeah,
prediction.
yeah. So that's exactly, so that this it's funny how cute this guy looks, and this is the bald version. Usually it's not so cute, but he's still so cute. He's like a little baby. Oh, and this is like something that I never wanted to mention to people, but I wanted half the people to get it and then half the people not to, like hubs, with the two Z's. It's sort of like a B, and I wanted to have this guy to almost have like a bug aesthetic, but again, I wanted to make it so subtle that half of the people would get it and half wouldn't. So there's like, even the logo has a subtle nod to a beehive, but it's all about like colonies and just that, how
Hmm.
they like function in the ecosystem, and it works. And a lot of like what I'm trying to do is has a small model after that. And so this guy is maybe a robot, but he also has like a bug like aesthetic. And I tried to nail that. You have no idea how many iterations it took to get to something like this. It was wild, but I'm so happy. That again, we've come this far and we got to this point. So the very last thing that I'll bust through, and I'll be quick and I'll skip over the boring parts, but like I mentioned before, I really wanted to find this really happy medium and crossover between, like, I don't even want to say metaverse, but like social world and social media, and try to get something that's familiar to people and whatnot. And this is what we finally landed on. And this is it. It's really simple, and hopefully you can look at it and you just get it right away. But I'll go through the UI now. That's obviously when you click a character, you can see like the little card. I talked about badges being there: add friend, view profile, see
Hmm.
the groups. So again, when you ever see groups in this app, groups are the promoters that use the events, and things like that. This is your added chat here, so you can do it this way, or you can do the more familiar way. I think this was a little bit similar to Twitch. And then if you go a little further, it's no messages, but you can do the see who's in there. There's another section that will show your friends, and you can instantly teleport to them as well in the future. But this would allow you to mute people and all the fun stuff you're probably used to. Quick social sharing, of course, is something we need. So you can get someone in here if it's a free event. If it's a paid event and it's not sold out, they can quickly buy and enter. But you can do the same thing for your own private room or public space. There's a link to everything, and I call it URL mapping. And again, like if you wanted someone to spawn here, like all you'd have to do is add the tile coordinates to like this link here, and you can do that anywhere in the world. Obviously, we have the audio and video, and you can switch it off if you want to during onboarding. You've got your chat, and again, these chat bubbles can be customized, so you'll see probably a bunch of different colors, and we may even do like textures with NFT artists to do some really cool variations of that as well.
Nice.
Again with because I think about like Brinkerman could do a really cool one of those, and Hackatow would have a dope one, and I would really like to
Totally.
see that.
Dude, if you could have say I own a Chromie Squiggle, and so my chat box is gonna have a squiggly kind of border or something, or I
Hmm.
own this Hackatow piece and it's gonna be like black and white, like little lines like through,
Yeah.
like something like that could be super cool to distinguish what you're holding and what you're
Oh
flexing
yeah,
that
yeah.
day from your bag through your chat. Like that's
Yeah,
dope.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we want to definitely deliver a quick flex however we can, and that would be sick. And yeah, the chat bubbles is a great entry point as well for that. But this
It's
is
similar to the Rolex one thing, right? Where it's like
yeah.
whenever you talk to people who have Rolexes, it's like all I know is that it's a Rolex, but people who
Well,
know Rolexes, they know them,
yeah,
and they're like, "Yeah,
Everything
that's just
about it, yeah.
yeah."
yeah.
Like,
Well,
"Oh, you
the
got the cheap one." I'm like, "There
y-
are no cheap Rolexes." Oh,
yeah,
no, yeah, there
the first touch point is like the avatar though, which is something that obviously if you're depending on what collection it is, I don't know. Like a lot of them don't have full 3D renderings. Luckily, our first partner with the Retro Doges, they have like an incredible set of fully rigged. They actually have it where the mouth can move too, and what we're going to do is
Nice.
as you're talking, the mouth will move. Um, then I'm excited. So
That's
here's like
huge.
the quick. You have the paid reactions, and I'd have to open up the prototype to show you what it looks like. But if you hover it, if it's a paid one, it shows you how much it costs. And again, I piggybacked off TikTok, and there you click once to see it, and then you click again to actually send it, so you don't do an accidental click. If you can't tell, we've definitely we covered everything in terms of even the small things there. So here's like the infinite scroll, and it's really cool. And I remember back in the day, and if anyone knows Habbo, I was like my first social application, and I know for a fact a lot of that this app was inspired by Habbo. I give them all the flowers and kudos because they definitely really set the stage for what I think is innovating off of that. But this is like an infinite scroll, and what was always cool about Habbo was that as your room started to get popular, like as more people got in, it's like then a lot of people got in, and then a lot of, and it's because like you showed up on the top. You started so it's like this momentous kind of thing as you got people in there. And that's what I want to do is, obviously like popular rooms will start showing up at the top, so you don't have to scroll as far. There's a filtering system where you can just jump into your friends' rooms and then things like that. But I really love the whole infinite scroll idea here. Um, and these little icons kind of give an indicator of what it is. Like these are just events, and you can see if they're private rooms and stuff like that. And then this is just you can actually go back out to actually the map itself. And I don't have anything to show you on that yet. I got to leave some surprises. Um, so this is like your wallet per se, and you have everything pretty categorized out. So if you're in your private room, you can just drag things down and then arrange them however you want, and then it would just say like in room whatever it is. and you can just pick it back up if you're going to trade it with someone. But this allows you to quickly like kind of drag and drop, and there was a whole lot of thought put into it. There will be more like ways to filter as we kind of figure out what people want and things, but this is just a really great example for how that's gonna. It's not an example. It's actually what it is gonna be. Notifications, your pretty standard stuff here. If you're following a group and they put on an event, you get to know when they got tickets available, things like that. Friend requests. So you have friends and then you follow groups. Those are the two things you can do. This is not the final UI on this, and it's off on another page, but you hover the screen and it has like a full screen ability. So a lot of people, the first thing they're going to want is what they're used to, and that's, having it where the screen is full. They don't see the characters walking around. They have the chat. So there is that option. So that's what you see here. They do the full screen, and they get that experience. This is the events page, and you'll see that you can buy a ticket. You can, if it's free, you RSVP, and then you see here it's like sold out. And then so the second I'll skip to the ticket part. The second you actually get the ticket, now it's in your ticket inventory. You can notice here that it hasn't been ripped, which is my favorite part of this whole app. Then you have the countdown, and then the join if it's actually happening, and then the two tabs here. You have upcoming and the past. So past is if it's already happened, then that's the stub. So you can't really see it unless you look close. Okay, I guess you can see what I'm highlighting here because that's good at least.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you see like there's it's the serrated edge on the right. So that means it happened. The ticket was ripped. It's a stub now. This allows you to you see the all stubs. You can filter it by actually the group itself. So if you want to quickly get to something or search at the top. But if you click on like see details, the other thing is like you actually have the mint number, if you will, like which one in line you were able to snag. So it'd be cool,
Nice.
people who own the 0001 or whatever. But yeah, there's like
Totally.
filtered. And here, if you click on the more details, you get the description, the date, where it happened, and then if it was hosted by, this is if it was hosted by two different groups. Most of the time it's probably just gonna be one group, but then you have the members who are attached to the group who are actually at the event, and then the guest list, and then the replay button, of course, where you get to see everything that happened. And this is the really cool part, is what I was explaining earlier, is the ranking that happens afterwards, where you see the paid interactions that people gave, and this is how long that they were actually there. And this is just eternally married to the event stub itself, where not only can you say with confidence or tell someone like I was there, here's proof, but I was actually the person who gave a lot of contributions to this person, and most importantly, the person who put on the group, like they have all this data, so they know who their mega fans are, who's spending the most time at their events, who's engaging the most, and things like that. So if they ever wanted to do like an airdrop or something, they could easily do that. And so here's this is actually, believe it or not, an old rendering, but this is like a character. This will look a lot better, and obviously it won't be so bare. But this is if you're viewing someone's page, you see the groups that they're following, the spaces they own, and then going back here, this is like if you're viewing your own profile, you get your settings, same stuff, and the spaces. I did skip the wallet, so someone remind me to go back to that if I don't. You got your friends, pretty basic stuff, who you're following, so people can see what you're up to. Then you can go into your change username. Badges is something that's really important that we talked about. There's a little bit more adding here. It shows like all and the ones that you have. So you just quickly drag this up to the top here, and it'll display on your profile. Again, it's mainly to flex your affinity towards the groups that you're participating in their events and stuff like that. Okay. That's boring. Let's get over here to my favorite parts. I think it's all my favorite, but this is my most favorite. Again, with the groups that are set up on here. I don't know. Imagine this is like Brian Brinkman, or I don't know. I love that guy, so I'll always probably reference him.
Me too.
And these are all the people that follow him. Then the events that are coming up, and then you have the past events. You can jump in here from this little button here, see the past events you've missed or maybe not missed. But the super cool thing is their little merchandise store, like I explained, where at the bottom you can see either in the purple the tickets or the currency that you must have to be able to acquire from this group. And this is, and then at the very bottom you can see you must acquire 5 or more to unlock this. So it's like a tiered
Mm,
thing. So
cool.
yeah, they have 12 stubs. Obviously these numbers are wrong because if they have 12 this would show, but you get it. Like they can set it up where, okay, you know, I want them to have 20 to be able to get this tier of items and stuff like that, or and I want to this one just to be stubs, and instead of, you know, both, I want to be, you know, give some free stuff away or whatever. And then the easy stuff, like let's say if Token Smart had a group, right? This would be like all you guys who are attached to that. So all of you can set up events, and you know, have all of the access to the venue modules, which I'll show. Golly, man, I can't believe went for so long, but
All good.
I'll show you the venue modules. I'll bust through that little last part. Hopefully, we'll have some time for questions. Again, stubs that are affiliated to that group. I don't know if that was already there. Pretty simple onboarding. If you get a link to the group and you're like, I don't want to sign up, if you close out of the sign up, you still get to be a spectator and you can log in if you want. You have the ability to randomize your little character, which you'll have like a crazy amount of apparel, shirts, and all that jazz. It's still in the design works. Luckily, we're going to be launching with the retro doges as our primary until we get ours finished up on. If it's going to be a franchise, it's got to have like a lot of time put into it, so that's where we're at.
Hmm.
You can jump in. If you skip this step, you'll just be a guest and have whatever we gave you. You can turn off your camera and mic in the beginning if you want. Privacy is important for most people. One really cool thing we just added, which I love, is the AFK thing, where if you're away from this tab or whatever, the game screen, if you will, your character will be sleeping to someone else, but it'll show up on your screen as like a screensaver. So you just have to shake your mouse on over the screen and it'll wake up. But I didn't want people to be
Nice.
trying to chat with others and they're just not there. Like that could be a poor
Right.
experience. So we try to solve
Cool.
that there. And then the wallet part, which I skipped over, you have your balance, which I've basically, I don't want to get in. I have tokenomics and stuff, but they're gonna have to change because I think I finally landed on actually doing our own stable token, 64 to $1 ratio, and there's reasons behind that, and it's some people will probably disagree with me, but I found there was always a problem with platforms that have both their own token and NFTs alongside, where there's this like disjointment of value where people are focusing on. It was just like when you, if you buy something and the token was this price, and then it's like, how much did I actually spend? And I want to keep the focus on the NFTs in the game and the value being able to be tracked and go up that way, and less on like the token and the value of that
Hmm.
kind of fluctuating. And something I know as being in this space for a really long time is that it's like when you ride a motorcycle, and people always say it's like, it's not if you wreck, it's when you wreck. It's similar with crypto. It's like it's not when you get hurt by crypto, it's when you get hurt by crypto. And I
Yeah.
almost wanted to like lessen that from happening by not really giving into the. And then here's the thing: I'm sacrificing a lot of money by not doing a token, by not doing an IDO or ICO, whatever, for the sake of the value of the items in the game and the people getting that value out of it, and not really hurting the ecosystem. Now, if people want to like contribute, if people want to like use their tokens for like the different mechanics, that's cool. But as far as our token, you know, I want to keep it where it's just a value that's predictable. And even though the US dollar isn't necessarily predictable, we can argue that. You know,
Mm.
and it's not that we're going to be fixed to anything forever. Like if we need to peg ourselves to something that's more stable, maybe we will. I don't know. Uh, just I'm not trying to talk
That's, I mean,
politics.
that's I mean, that's a huge decision. I think that's, mad
It's
respect
not
for
been
trying
an
to bring some
easy.
stability. Yeah.
Yeah, it's but I actually really stand by it, and it's because I've seen the negative side of, like I love what Gala Games has done, and really a lot of the foundation they've laid for others, and the potential that they've sort of, they've done just big things in the space, and I like their team, especially Bitbender. but I just like I've bought stuff from their marketplace when the token was one price, and anyway, so I've had this like
Right.
experience that was like
Yeah.
ultimately negative, but I just can't be the only one, and so in order to kind of prevent that, I've decided to land here, and we're just now getting into the mobile stuff. You wouldn't believe, like, so in terms of development, and if anyone's a nerd, we use 3.js, and this is the reason is because it's like almost instant load time, and that's the whole goal. Is this app needs to be um, amazingly simple, but also like super lightweight on your device, and that way everyone can use it regardless, and it looks just the same, acts just the same, and you're not like having a lesser, like for instance, I tried to hop on Decentraland. All kudos to Decentraland, but I have an external GPU that allows me to run every program fine, and I can have several programs multitasking. But when I try to get into Decentraland, I know for a fact I'm not getting an optimized experience. Like it is subpar for me, and I don't
Hmm.
want that for anyone, especially if they can't like afford a good, gaming PC or whatever. So we've definitely done a lot to try and. Anyway, this is all the same stuff. I'm not gonna go into that. The last thing I want to jump into um, is the current demo, and look, like it took
Nice.
actually a second or two to load in.
Dope.
Um, so this is just what we decided to do, and this is literally just a month and a half of developing for this. Um, this has been in my brain and in the works for probably over a year off and on. But yeah. So
Nice.
again, this is, believe it or not, this is a really quick rendering of their characters. It's not like the final polished one, but you can see like
Looks great.
the thick lines that has our
Yeah.
aesthetic sort of painted over it, and all done through the engine. And like I can make them kind of do their,
Nice.
yeah. And recently, actually, as of today, there was something that really annoyed me. And it's basically when in terms like facing someone. Oh, someone saw the URL and popped in
Wow.
here. Yeah, it totally
Nice.
works. So anyone can actually hop in here. It wasn't something that we were like sharing around just yet, but yeah, if you have any feedback, feel free to DM me. Go ahead and hop on stage, and have the spotlight hit you up,
Oh
right?
no, it was actually me. I saw you
Oh,
doing it, and I was like, "Oh my god, I need to look at this."
yeah. And
No, that's
so
me.
the thing that we added today is like you can, if you click and hold on your the tile that you're on, and then you just drag the mouse, you can face wherever you want. And I freaking
Nice.
love this. This out is I'm just newly excited about this. So it's, if we needed something that would work on mobile just as much. This may be dumb to most people, but so he's standing there, and I want to go over here, and it just avoids people. Like it's all coded in there. No two people can
Right.
stand on the same tile, so it's always
Oh
going to
wow.
avoid the person. This is an entrance point, so I click here, and it'll go all the way around to the entrance point. And so you can see here, like there's the shadow that it extends out further as you it's a real light source. So imagine like having the
Nice.
venue that I showed you with this, and then the UI on top of that. It's going to be pretty wild. One other really neat thing, if you're in like a giant stadium and you just wanted to like pan around, and you're like, oh man, let me get back to my character. You got, this is again not the UI, but the functionality of getting right back on your character instantly is there. If you click the center one, it tracks your character as you walk. Something we're talking about right now is allowing for like the WASD movements, and the arrows, so you can just use that if you prefer. But
Hmm.
it's not like top priority
Nice.
just yet. So hold on one sec. So in terms of like the screen and such, this is a YouTube video
Oh
just
wow.
playing.
You see, like, it's
Nice.
really cool how you got it like fitting the aesthetic. But as you were saying, like if it plays all the other stuff like that, and then you're able to make it full screen for people that want
Hmm.
to do it, like
Yeah,
that's much more
exactly.
immersive to me.
Hmm. And
Ew.
yeah, and then you even have the options for tracking your character. If you wanted to walk over to the corner, and because you can chat right now, it's all baked into there. Yep. Oh, if you do exclamation point
Nice.
shuffle, you can change your character. If you're not jiving with that one, um, and then I can do the Twitch. One thing I do want to show I don't know. I haven't been on. I don't know what it's gonna do because I have the webcam already going. If it's gonna do. Oh, there we go.
Oh wow.
See, and it's like
Nice.
it's all built in there. Eventually it'll be just like StreamYard where you can have several up here. We'll have multiple
Dope.
cameras. You can cycle through different media sources, if you will. If it's a bigger thing, like if we have, this is just the foundation of what's gonna
Right.
happen. Um, let me see. I wanted to show. Um, oh, we don't have it with the webcam turns off yet, so let me refresh real fast. I love the bubble loading. That's kind of like everything loads individually. We did end up doing. I wanted to, throw like an item in here just to give it.
Mhm.
Anyway, so there's like a fish there. That's
Nice.
actually an NFT that I have from a project, and I hope that they invest. It'll be great. They're I don't know if anyone knows Sean Duras, but it's his project. Um, Big YouTuber. And then if you want to get like kind of weirded out, like there's this dance. It's not the one in the top center, but like like dude, this I can't, dude. It's
Nice.
like it's weird, man. It's like I don't know if I should be looking at it. Um, but
Really
obviously
funny.
there's gonna be a lot more dances. I bet you Path, this is his project, he's probably offended by that when it got implemented. I don't. If you know a Twitch streamer that is going right now, you could do exclamation point play and then just paste their Twitch stream and it would start playing. I don't. Um, and then one more thing I want to show is really the scale, and you'll have to look at my screen to see this, but I unlocked my ability to zoom out all the way. So here you got.
All right.
So imagine you have this, right? But then you have other zones connected to this one. So right here would actually be the Retro Doja zone, as you saw in the grid map. But then it's full of buildings that have just developed over time, and it spans out. And it's just, to me, it's the interconnectedness. Now we do have plans to allow people to like port over their own, if they don't want to, if they're going to be attached no matter what, but if they want to have a isolated experience, they can like have take their tile on their website, and we're not going to stop them from doing that. So there's that, but in the big world, like you can literally just walk over to the next tile and the next tile, and it'll just render as you go. So if you want to have like that exploration, if you want to walk all the way to your room, if it's like in the rural outskirts of the world, you can literally take the streets and all the way there. There's not cars or whatever, so you would be walking. It's just pathways. But yeah,
And how big, is there a limit to the size of this world,
so
or?
let me show you back to this. The first, so these tiles here are the first, there's 103, so it's minus this Retro Doges. Once these are all sold out, it will continue to add layers, but they're never going to have as many building blocks allocated per zone than the center ones. So the further out you go, the more rural spaces will be. And I feel like the buying will like continue to like, as we will continue to add rings as the appetite is there, but so like a ring would have to sell out to continue. But the really interesting thing I think that's going to happen over time, and I don't know the numbers specifically to make this happen, because I want it to obviously be as massive, but I also want to continue to keep like the idea of scarcity in mind. But if you do own a center zone, you have the biggest ability, you have the greatest capacity to build like the greatest structures and stuff. You want to do one massive skyscraper, you can. If you want to do several smaller size buildings, you can. But the amount of building blocks you're allocated is going to keep you confined to only have so high, and you know what I mean. So it's kind of like Minecraft. If I only let you have like, you know, 364 stacks of dirt, and whatever you can do with that, you can, but you know,
Right.
it's going to be limited. So that's part of this process, the block allocation. But the coolest thing ever, though, and the thing I think is going to be great is, yes, it will be expensive to own properties in this central area, especially near these zones or these zones, whatever. However, as time goes on, the spaces are going to continue to get allocated less and less blocks. So it'll just feel more and more rural the further out you go. So you'll see more like subdivisions and funny stuff like that pop up. But it'll be like entry points. And I feel like the main goal is going to be like trying to get more towards the center. And the ultimate goal, I guess, would be owning your own zone and things like that. But yeah, I do believe that it should just continue to grow. We're not going to have like a cap per se, but the value is going to like diminish, not like quickly or anything like that, but the value is always going to be concentrated towards the center because of the amount of structures and things that they can do to, and just being, you know, it's kind of like the what's the CryptoVox, like
Yeah,
Genesis City or something,
you're
you know?
downtown. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Genesis City. Yeah.
city center sort of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's always going to be like the most the best thing. Oh, and the last thing before I close the demo is I want everyone to throw up. It's just I don't, to our developer, it's a she's
Trippy.
amazing. And yeah, this is just I don't know, exercising her skills. She was just showing off, man. There's a lot more to that. I can't show it. I have to refresh to make this stop.
If we had some crazy like dubstep stuff, yeah, this would be perfect. And
I mean, I don't know anyone that would opt into this. It is a troll thing for sure. So I'm gonna close that. That's it. That's the whole project, and
Dude,
I highly appreciate everyone who stuck around and listened to me ramble about sweet nothings. Um,
incredible, bro. No,
thank you.
this is a phenomenal amount of work. Obviously, that's gone into this. I mean, I'm pretty mind blown. A lot of things that we did cover. Um, Definitely interested in the like evolving like profile badges that you'd mentioned kind of
Mhm.
early on.
Oh
That's
yeah, yeah.
something that struck me, that we didn't really like go into a lot, but that sounded super interesting. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy to see how. I think this for like music events and stuff. This is sounds just freaking perfect. It'll be interesting to see like what kind of companies might come in and just build like public space and stuff
Yeah.
too. Like you had mentioned that, you know, so it's definitely super intriguing. I mean, shit, yeah, there's a lot. I'm still
We
just like kind of soaking it all up.
it is.
yeah.
But I don't think you can really deliver a solution without attending all of these pieces. I think, and that's why it seems huge, but I think it has to be sort of that way in order to create an ecosystem that really is self-sustaining and has the return value and has the, I mean, I didn't mention a lot of stuff, even when it comes to items in your room, you know, in this idea of having smart items where you, let's say you have a Gods Unchained card table that's a piece of furniture in your room, and you and your buddy stand in front of it. You both click play. Now I embed Gods Unchained within there. We keep up with leaderboards and stuff
Dope.
like that. But depending on the partnerships, like that alone, you know, having it where you can have a random number generator with a built-in smart contract where I'm not saying we're going to create casinos, but you know, we're not going to control everything that happens. And so however you do your
Right.
thing, you know, that's whatever. So, but like allowing for those sort of modularity things to happen. Like I said, in the long term, we want to try and be more like Minecraft when it comes to like the items and things. So we want to just, you know, we want you to be able to create a space of your own, but even beyond that, a space that makes sense to come back to because we're a hub for many other things, not only for finding people with common interests, but also just stuff to do in general, and actually earn money, if you play your cards right and stuff, especially being early and things like that. So yeah, I again, it's big, but I think it has to be.
Are you
Yeah.
guys
Yep.
like how close are you to like public launch? And are you planning on doing like an initial sell of the Hubs Team Tower? Like how are you planning
Yeah,
on
so that is
launching
all.
this
Yeah,
thing?
so that is going to be the first, I guess, big sale. Like there's going to be kind of like an open house where you can kind of go through and explore, um, and we're gonna have that, and it will be, but I think 2 months is what I perceive to be when beta happens, and yeah, and that is the first thing we want to sell, but we also want to, before that, give away a bunch of stuff. So before we charge anyone anything, we're going to be like filling people's wallets with our items and with the token and as well, which is an interesting topic in itself because switching to a stable, that really would mean I'm not giving a token with future value. It'd be meaning that I'm giving a token that already has value. So I'm like, that's a big budget sink, but I want to do it
Right.
because it has to. I would rather spend more money on rewarding the early adopters and the end user than and making long term relationships out of that. People that stick around and just because it makes sense to, than getting people that just come in just for a short while that came from an advertisement that you paid for and they didn't really, their heart wasn't in it, or they anyway. So I want to sink a lot of money into just rewarding and keeping people there, and that's part of that methodology. Um, and I could go into the tokenomics and how that works and how the stuff is distributed to the zone owners, and the events have the tokens that can be allotted that are rewarded to the attendees and things like that. And if you have allotments to public spaces, then you get an allotment of uh, tokens and items distributed into your public spaces. So people are incentivized to actually explore, and that's all done by us without you having to like, drum up, you know, um, marketing message to get people in the game for yourself. Even when it comes to selling, like, so if you had properties that you wanted to sell that, if you got a zone, it all goes through our marketing messages. So we do our best to help you sell out the things. So again, it's just a huge white glove solution to the metaverse. At least that's what I want to be. And just making it that's making it easy for everyone, really, but also for people who
Yeah.
have the marketing budget, who have the budget in general to do this. Like, I don't expect your average person to spend $25,000 to buy a zone, and that was never the intention. It was a DAO that has the budget, and this makes sense, and they can wait to make money later. Um, and or your brand, massive corporate brands who have the money, and it would just make the ecosystem super vibrant to have these pre-existing communities and brands come in, and it also gives collectors the ability to collect in that variety of ways that showcases their affinity towards things. So it's a lot of things I've thought about, as you can see there. But again, like, I doubt that I've explained everything. Like, this is still not like, there's so much more. And I'm one, maybe I'll do a round two when think we're further along, and that'll be really fun to keep coming
Yeah.
back and giving updates. Yeah.
For sure. For sure. Definitely going to need you back for round two. So you're going to be basically launching like the this kind of Genesis building, which will be like central downtown, your guys' spot, and there's
hmm
going to be how many rooms available in that like building, like
A minimum of,
people that.
of of 50 in that complex. I mean, that's the minimum. We're still um, dialing in the numbers, but it will be like super scarce. Um, and so we probably want to go a little bit higher on that, but we keep our, like, so we're still figuring out how many blocks to allocate per zone, and it's just a tricky thing because it's never
Mhm.
been done before, right? And so we keep ourselves married to that rule as well. And so we're trying to figure out like what makes sense in terms of allocation, so that changes our size, so that really our end number is still being kind of decided upon. But the great thing about how these things are being built out is, like, the venue on the top can be done and finished with, and then we just have the facade on the sides, so we can be working on it, and it could be the exact facade that's going to be in the, but as far as like rollout stages, we're not like going to get hung up on actually releasing anything. Ideally, like in the future, like if it's in the world, it can be fully explored, and it doesn't have any like
Right.
areas you can't go into. But I have to be realistic at some point. And it was one of our 3D guys was telling me, like, listen, you got to make a facade. And I'm like, no, interconnected, bro. Like everything is interconnected. And he's like, stop it, just stop it. If he was here, he'd be slapping my hand. Like, no. But so yeah, we're gonna probably be doing like a lot of events in our hosted place. We're gonna be rolling out things like that, and then giving away stuff. And then as we get more runway and things like that, because I'm raising capital in the form of equity and early people. I'm giving both, a zone and equity, and there's only going to be 10 spots for that. So I don't, like give everything away. But I think that
Right.
if obviously you're taking the biggest risk by being in early. I personally am going to be biased and be like, what risk? But it's a risk, no matter what. And so I definitely I'm doing so like Retro Doges, Path. If you guys know Path.eth, he's I wouldn't be doing this without his support right now. He was the early believer that kept us. He gave us this runway to get to where we are now. It's
Awesome.
amazing. Yeah, he's I cannot say enough good things about that person. Like he's one of my top 5 people in the crypto space. I almost said like number 1, but
Nice.
I don't want to count out. I love Rizzle too. I love you guys. So it's
Yeah.
definitely it's great. Everyone here is great. It's just anyway. So the raising capital is going to change how quickly we do things. But the thing is that the feedback I've gotten so far is so tremendously positive that I'm very confident that it'll be way quicker than even I think. Especially if like we're able to ramp up our teams so that they can delegate things down, and we can just do things a lot quicker and create really fast pipelines for stuff. So
Nice.
I still am confident about like 2 months. I don't think that'll change. Like, and that's like at a slow rate. Obviously, we're going to keep taking feedback and improving, and I want to grow with the community, especially with everything we add in the future. But I think we have a great foundation to start, and so it'll take us 2 months to get something where we get everyone in there on a big scale. Testing can start way sooner. Like we could do small scale events within the demo place. Our event venue, it should be done in a week and a half, I believe, like with all the
Nice.
texture mapping as well. And yeah, it's moving quick, but I think it's because we got passionate people who understand that this is big and it has like legs and big potential, and so it's all
Bringing
teams. Hmm?
bringing a lot of pieces together. I mean, a lot of this stuff has been sort of part and parcel, I think. So trying to like unify a lot of this, yeah, this is a freaking huge challenge. I would be awesome to see, some test events that we could pile in
Heck yeah,
to
man.
in the next couple months here.
Yeah, no, and it will be sooner than I really do. Like I have some, like in the back of my head, like I know the calls that I have tomorrow, and literally one of the several calls I have tomorrow could change everything. And one thing I just want to add is that just like I am about like brands and stuff, like the reason why it's even taking this long with capital is because it's so important to me that we get the right people involved, just to keep the vision, because I know that having the wrong people invested can really derail a good thing, and I'm like protecting this, like white knuckling it like crazy.
Nice.
And
Well, we
so
need like
yeah,
we need this actually. We need it so that we can have your like stewardship bring in large brands in a way that doesn't just totally shout like money grubby cash
yeah,
grab, don't care about you at all. Like like we need us
yeah,
to be able to like bring the brands in and stuff. And up until now, it just hasn't really. I haven't seen it. So this is super, super positive in my outlook that you're tackling something this big and you're going to be touching those brands because they need the right touch. And like that's been one of the big issues over the last 5, 6 years is that like we do see sometimes bigger brands try and come in, but they're just not getting the help. They're not getting that white glove
Hmm.
service that has the experience. They're getting like, I don't know, people that like, found the space a few months ago and somehow are like working for these big companies trying to bring them in. Like, so
Yeah.
it's this is I think a crucial um like crux point, and I think the timing is also right, because if you had done this a year ago, it would have been too early.
Mm.
And would have probably not, like, it could have missed its mark. Whereas I think now we're in a place where, I mean, still, there's not like, millions of people out there in the metaverse, but
Yeah.
we're starting to feel, so it's starting to feel like some traction. Um, like with Nifty launching their thing, very cool, like interesting style that they have, definitely very different than what you're
Yeah.
doing.
Yep.
So it's nice to see, and it's like,
It's
uh, you know,
validating for sure.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I do feel the rumblings, and um I and like even with the things that I know is everything feels really serendipitous. Not only the timing, but the people that I've fell in line with, and that like I just, and again, call me cheesy, but I think that everything has happened for a reason to get to this point, and that maybe that pays into a lot of my confidence moving forward, and I'm not even remotely nervous about like, oh, am I going to get the capital, or is this going to do well, or whatever. um for some reason I have this like knowing, and I don't know if that comes from just all the things that have sort of lined up so perfectly. I'm just in awe of like, I couldn't have done this on my own. Sure, I've been consistent, but I don't think everyone, even Bezos, says he got lucky in some capacity.
Hmm.
And I'm not trying to like compete with that guy, especially not that guy. Um, but I'm just saying that like I do feel like there is something here, and it is meeting a need, and it's not like I know because I'm. It's funny because I had to. I found out that I feel like I've sold stuff to people, and then the thing something changed, and like it's like by proxy they got rugged, but I shared it in good intentions, but like I couldn't control the outcome, and I was representing this brand or da 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 da. Da. I got in a situation where things that I couldn't. It got outside of my hands to control, and I just ended up like hurting, like burning bridges, but ultimately hurting friendships because like it was miscommunicated or something like that. And I found out that like the only way that I know for sure something will happen is if I just do it, and I have the
Right.
control of all the things and the outcomes. And like if I fudge up, at least I know I'm gonna like share it the and be honest. But I also planned a crap ton ahead to try and like make sure this doesn't happen. But I'm just saying that I got to a point in my life where I found out that like if you it's like if you want something done right, you do it yourself. But it sort
Right.
of is sort of like that. Like I just couldn't. I wanted so bad for something like this just to pop up out of nowhere. But after a while, I'm like, even with video games, I mean, I'm keeping Power World out of this because it's so fun. But there was like no video games that I could like play that were like really doing it for me. And like, I'm like, I have to create a video game that I actually enjoy, that I know is going to reward me for my time invested. Is that going to have to be it?
Right.
But this is just like, it's just interesting how I like have this strange amount of know-how in these random, for some reason it all fits together in this one weird strange niche, and I'm like, that's got to be something. Like I don't understand why like I would have I would like I was always I went to second grade twice. Like I was not the smartest kid in any room ever. And now I feel like I have something to bring to the table, and I have a way to give back to the community, and I feel like I would be doing, I don't know, like I feel like this is something I have to do.
So you have to
um
do, yeah.
yeah, I would just, and I want to, like, it's something, and I love this space, but I especially love the people that are in it for the right reasons, and that's who I want to try and reward the most, and be a service to the most. And so yeah, it's almost like a good closer. Thank you for coming to my TEDx talk. Like
Yeah.
um
Way to nail it, bro. No, like for real though, like we've all been kind of saying for years, like we need a better social media experience in crypto, and like we're just kind of stuck on Twitter and da da da, and yeah, like it takes a lot to go, okay, I'm gonna take all these things that I've learned, all these like the times I've failed, the times I've done good, the ideas my buddy had that was so awesome, and like kind of really put it all together and percolate over like, must be year plus that you've been working on this, to actually have it come together and have like really cool aesthetics, and like have the little pop out like chat that you can get more cozy with somebody within a larger group, like all these things that we've been kind of dreaming of and wanting and saying, yeah, like somebody do it, like thanks Ross. Like we're doing it.
Yeah, and
I
that
I
yeah, yeah. No, it's cool, and I
so
want to grow
exciting.
with everyone here too. And like, it's not gonna. I don't want it just to be my thing. I like to think that this is the foundation. It's upwards from here, and everyone can have like their piece of it. And yeah, and because like I want to sustain, and then the only way you can, and as I've learned, is having good people alongside of you. And this is just a great place to start. And honestly, like this is literally the first interview that I've done, and I'm so happy that
Oh
it's
dude,
here. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
awesome. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
incredibly
I,
blessed.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm
that's
I'm
that's
yeah,
amazing, man.
I that
I wanted to
that like
like
put a little
easy.
flame in my heart.
I know you're talking about like, this is something that's needed, and it's cool that someone like you, Russ, is the one bringing it
Man,
forward.
I
That's the
appreciate it.
key right there. And it's funny
Yeah.
how like you don't think about it till you see it, and you're like, yeah, this is why I feel like a lot of these other efforts, we make fun of them and stuff, but I'm like, did they fail because they were bad technically? It's like, I don't know. It feels more like because it wasn't brought forward by the right person who actually had these thoughts and cares, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
would have gave up if I didn't know that there was people who could come alongside of me. And honestly, it's like protecting a small little flame. And the more people who see the vision and have that actual buy-in, it's like you're sharing that flame, and it's easier, and it's not so scary that it's going to get blown out, or you're going to forget an idea and you got it on paper, and then others see it and they believe it and they're in it. And like now
Nice.
it's like I can feel this like flame being shared, and the shared vision, it almost like alleviates the pressure like that much more every time there's that like true buy-in, and they see it and they know that the intention is good. And and then stuff like that. It's great to kind of start sharing because of that alone. And so again, like being able to do that here is really really cool. And just in general, but especially, I don't know, like I feel like this is just my original stomping ground in general. It's like coming back to my hometown, after I've been, I don't even know what I would say I was doing. Like I was just in the wilderness. That's probably the best
On
way. I
a
was
on a
40
walkabout.
40 years in the wilderness.
There it is.
That's what I feel like,
Totally.
man,
Well,
in my brain.
w- welcome home,
Thank
and
you.
yeah, quite a walkabout indeed. I would hope you're going to be bringing this to the whip fairly soon, and let the whole whip crew kind of know about it.
Yeah, I'll touch base with Rizzle. Like I've actually kept up with him, or kept him in the loop with like this whole experience as
Nice.
well. We always like have these like weird intersections in our lives where we reconnect, and it's like
Totally.
crazy. So yeah, I'll connect with him. It'd be great to get on the whip. And my focus, I definitely have like a lot of calls coming up, and but I'm always gonna have time for you guys here and whatnot. Yeah, so
Love
this
it.
is home. Yeah.
And if you're like scheduling test events where you're trying to like pressure test things, get a bunch of people in here, like if you
Yeah,
bring us in, like we can bring our communities with us. Like
yeah, and
that's
your
something I think
Totally.
sledgehammers.
everybody here would
That'd be
love it.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would definitely love to set that up, and you know, I'm all for it. And so having you guys and would be great. I'm never one to pressure anyone into anything, but if anyone wants to do it, I will not say no. So yeah, we'll have to schedule something offline, and for sure, and yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be definitely, you've got a pretty good crew of people that would jump in and just stress test for sure. So
Amazing.
that could be a
And
fun
feedback.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
any feedback, anything you
totally.
think would be cool. Like you don't understand how big my notes are from interactions I've
Mm.
had with people, and just even if you think it's a crazy idea, I want to hear it all. You know, So that's where I'm at now.
Dope.
Yep. I totally have cottonmouth now. That was a lot of talking, and dude, like,
Yeah, dude. No, I mean, incredible. It's a freaking massive undertaking, and I think you did excellent justice bringing it to us. I did not know we were like your first kind of
uh,
stop on the stomping ground to
very
start getting the word
first.
out. So that's
Yep.
super cool.
You guys
Super
have
super
seen
cool.
way more than like, I don't know, everyone else. Like I didn't
Nice.
hold anything back. I mean, if I had more time, I could probably explain more, but I'm so out of it now. You guys,
Ah, dude,
that took everything. But I
I
just know that
believe you,
there's more,
bro.
and there always will be more. Like this is like an
Right?
infinite pool of awesome. So like just
Totally.
keep yeah, we'll keep serving. Oh, Doc just popped in at the very end. I love that guy. Shout out to Doctor, man. Thanks for showing your face at the last 30 seconds.
The doctor is in the house.
But
Nah,
yeah,
freaking incredible show, really. Stick around if you want to listen to some tunes. Of course, you know you can pop down to the audience and stuff and just kind of take a chill. But we always do have some great musical after interludes after the main thing. And yeah, just I'm super impressed. I'm super excited, super stoked to like kind of hear about how the next, how these calls are going to be going, everything. Definitely we need you back for an update fairly soon. I would say, yeah, like maybe between us here or the whip to like fire up some stress tests and whatever in a few weeks when you're feeling like it, just hit me up in or Trislet and we'll get something going too.
amazing.
Absolute banging job, man.
Thank
Nice
you.
work.
Yeah, and thanks for all the
Yeah,
kind words. Thanks for everyone for sticking around and really soaking this in. It means a lot. These are the early days, and I definitely all the OGs here will stay OGs in my heart. So we'll figure out a way to get you guys some wicked badges or something if I can work it in.
cool. That'd be dope.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Well,
I gotta say goodnight to my kids and all that jazz. But thanks again for having me.
awesome, bro.
Look forward to being back and kind of evolving with you guys.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right.
Catch you soon.
See ya.
Thanks.
Peace. That was freaking crazy. Wow.
Can
I'm
we?
super super hyped about Hubs.
I am too.
I'm
Just,
sure
I
you.
mean, man, I
Yeah,
remember Russ from way back. It's funny how, like, man, we've been here forever, haven't we? My God, it's
I
been
know.
six,
Yeah.
7 years. My God. But
Yep.
yeah, I remember
Yep.
talking to him forever ago. It's like seeing what he's doing now. That's exciting. We need it.
Dude, it's super cool. Yeah, I bet you're going to be having some because you are a little more uh like locked into the tech end of that stuff because you build apps and dapps and all that. So I'm sure you're going to have even more probably of an understanding, but big moves for sure.
That's right. Well, now let's listen to Jose.
Yeah, it's time to vibe.
Yeah.
Woo!
Whoop
Happy to
whoop.
see Drizzly, happy to see Isin, Felons, and actually I was not that connected on today's space, but what I saw reconnected me like with Habbo Hotel vibes. I did ask it, and I think Drizzly told me that it was
Ah.
indeed inspired on Habbo, uh, which is like I believe it was like the beginning of Web3 for me somehow, because
Mhm.
I I I was using Habbo when I was like 8 years old, and I used to play like in this virtual hotel, and you use these like Habbo credits, where and you use that to buy furniture into the digital world, and people were making like jobs inside this
Nice.
metaverse. Yes, it was pretty interesting, and I enjoyed those vibes. So I always like was thinking about like we should like go back to that somehow, and uh, actually I saw this Spanish project. I don't know if they have like an English community, but they are basically, I don't know how, using Habbo on Web3, and
Hmm.
I think they they created like a duplicate of Havo and they put it on chain, and that's it. This is the Discord, and they make like raffles. They send like furniture. I don't know how actually works, but having one of the things that I was thinking about when I was seeing today's guest, and I just love the art. I think they were feeling like not that cool because the page was like dancing, right?
Hmm.
But I really appreciate like to be able like to see this early stage phases of the product development and be able, you know, to see it growing. It's like the opportunity that yeah, sharing projects in these ways open to us, and I think that's where we find like the most value. Um, so yeah, happy to see the little I was able to see, and I see Felens here as well.
Oh yeah,
What up, Felens?
nice to nice to have you with us on this Monday. Nice to have Felons joining us too. Right on.
Definitely so nice to be here. I'm just finishing up making dinner myself, so the timing is brilliant.
Right on.
And listening to Russ, I mean, what a take on where things are and where to go. I mean, talk
Yep.
about a individual journey. I mean, and to come up with this project is way cool. So many aspects that eclipse some of the projects that we know today.
Right.
Interesting. The UI, I guess you can call it, is unique. Well, not necessarily unique, but it's definitely got some you know just an approach to it that. One thing I was curious, did you catch whether or not there was a first person view on it?
So I don't recall if there was a first person view. You can go like full screen. So yeah, let's see. So yeah, you can click on like you could click on a screen and have it go full screen. That's for sure. I remember him saying that. I don't know necessarily if you can then cruise around in world with that view. Not 100%. I'm not 100%. But I'm sure that I mean, Russ, he's probably like recovering right now after that huge gauntlet of a rundown. But
Yeah, no
I'm sure
doubt.
he would have both like reasons for and against if they're working on first person view or not. I sort of think that it might be more of that like overhead, and then you kind of click into things.
Got it. And it was just a passing question. I'll definitely look forward to seeing more. And I guess as an organization, maybe Token Smart could be a participant at that level. I know it would be tough for a NFT music hall to come into this picture. I mean,
Yeah,
or personally, yeah.
I'm
Whoa,
hoping
heavy.
we'll see. He's Russ did mention he wants to be, you know, hooking people up. So we'll see what kind of we need some kind of Token Smart discount in there. Get up in there with the fam for sure. But we'll be
Yeah.
representing in one way or another.
Hey, listen, I just sat next to my computer. I'm gonna switch over from my phone, so if I need to be brought back up, you'll see me raise my hand. Hold on a second.
Cool.
Okay. I just shared a video now that we having a Monday of gaming. This is an
Mm-hmm.
interesting one. It's like I made Minecraft, but it's 4D, and it was just one of the greatest examples to get what four dimensions looks like. It's a great video, so I do recommend it. I
Cool.
see some people giving emojis here. I don't know if you saw it, Elbow, but it's pretty great. It is one of the greatest examples and ways of teaching, like how the 4D will be, and they do that by explaining you how a 2D a two-dimension being will experience a three-dimension world if we put a two-dimensional being into a three-dimension world. But in this they explain to you in that way, and then they show you how somebody from the three dimension can perceive the fourth dimension. And
I love those videos.
yeah,
I haven't seen this one yet. I'm gonna watch it later, but I've seen other like explanations about that, and it's just so fascinating. Like it's such a interesting thought experiment to try and put yourself even down into that 2D plane and then to kind of like extrapolate out on further dimensions. It's interesting
yeah,
thought
yeah.
stuff for
I
sure.
have been seeing a few videos about that too, and they were always like food for thought. But this is the
Hmm.
first one that shows you super easily how that works. Like it's
Cool.
great. It's a great example. Yeah, I think that everybody can like see it because yeah, the edition work they did is really nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm down to start doing some music. I see Felons is popping up again, so I don't know.
Woohoo!
No, it's you. Bring it in.
Woohoo! Yeah, let's start. Voy hablando la verborrea del dolor. Voy sanando así mi pobre corazón. Transmutando grado a grado vibración. Para ser una escalera hacia el Señor. De rojo a morado. Desde do hasta el sí. Canto lo que canto pa' curarme los espantos del pasado y del futuro en el aquí. Sueño lo que sueño pa' traerle al mundo entero la certeza y la alegría de vivir. En cada palabra pronunciada con el alma, destilando la sustancia universal. Hoy, hablando en el silencio de la verdad, descubro que soy la muerte y soy vida. Para ser una escalera hacia el Señor, de rojo a morado. Desde do hasta el sí. Canto lo que canto pa' curarme los espantos del pasado y del futuro en el aquí. Sueño lo que sueño pa' traerle al mundo entero tristeza y la alegría de vivir. En cada palabra pronunciada con el alma, destilando la sustancia universal.
Woo!
Woo!
I remember last week,
Yeah.
Felens, you were last week here. I thought you were not, right?
Oops. Hold on one second. Bring up my camera. Okay. Yeah, I missed you guys, but I had company over, and it was just a chill night.
That's
Yeah.
cool to have some friends over, and you guys had a little dinner party or something. Nice.
Yep. So,
Invite them
definitely.
to perform.
Well, actually, one thing I'd like to do maybe a little bit later is share something pretty cool on the horizon. And I'll play this one song for you, Jose. But where's that capo?
Send that capo.
Capo time. So let's set some scene, my bro. How am I sounding?
Sounding good. Strong.
Thank you. So, take it from
I love it.
here.
Loving the music.
Always good. being out here, guys. Good to see y'all.
That's a great song. I just tune up to try to catch some vibe, yo. I just hope you keep sharing some tunes later in the day.
Sure. Happy to keep going. But I will queue up this other song, which is pre-recorded, and share that with a little piece of artwork that I just recently got from the artist that's going to go with it into an NFT. So I'll queue that up for my next song.
Okay, sounds great. I will put my headphones here. I don't feel comfy with wearing them. A veces me aferro tanto a los momentos que cuando se acaban me causan dolor. Y ese es mi karma de tanto soñar. Que el tiempo todo lo cambia, es transformación. Que el tiempo es una distancia que cambia la percepción. Tu frío quítamelo. No me entregues nada. Eterna madrugada nos mira en un rincón. Bailaba sin distracción la canción de la muerte. Nuestro código inherente también se hizo canción. Tanto talento que tienen tus ojos tardíos. Muero de risa con todos tus juegos mentales. El argumento más denso ahora es la brisa de tus valores tan tiernos y tan naturales. Canto y conecto los puntos a tiempo con rimas. Y tú no sabes de dónde van mis disparates. Que manifiesto seguido en los medios días. Que dan color de mi esencia a tus realidades. Despierto en plena madrugada, como pidiendo a gritos un color, una tonalidad más clara, que luces también color y notas musicales o signos zodiacales. El arte es un motor, tu frío quítamelo. No me entregues nada. Eterna madrugada nos mira en un rincón. Bailaba sin distracción la canción de la muerte. Nuestro código inherente también se hizo canción. Tanto talento que tienen tus ojos tardíos. Muero de risa con todos tus juegos mentales. Ja, ja, ja. El argumento más denso ahora es la la brisa de tus valores tan tiernos y tan siderales. Canto y conecto los puntos a tiempo con rimas. Y tú no sabes de dónde van mis disparates. Que manifiesto seguido en los medios días. Que dan color de mi esencia a tus realidades.
Woo! Adiwa!
Adiwa. Curious to hear the music that Felens have to show us today.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But I also was curious about the people you said. So Super Collector. It sounds a little familiar, but I'm not sure from where. Super Collector offering to mint on their page. What does that mean, Jose? They have a website for music or something?
I'm not even sure. I'm going to have a first stall with them. I hope that in Wednesday. And
Cool.
I'm going to check further. So far I was just went into their Discord. They have a Wednesday chat. I haven't seen their Wednesday chat and have been just nice, and they are looking to do more like Twitter spaces. Yeah, but I don't have any more information. Like, I'm just connecting with them, and I was curious to know if you got any more info, because I don't know, uh, they are not familiar to me from the past. But Lindsay saw that I minted on Sound SYC, and
Mm-hmm.
she then suggested me to check this page. She have been connecting with the guys, and she feels like they are cool dudes. So I decided to hop in and check it out, and she introduced me to the community, and yeah, it have been like really slow. I have been attending like for 2 weeks to their community calls, a little late, but
Mm-hmm.
I got some nice vibes around, and I think that on Wednesday it could be that I'm going to talk with some of their core members, which just sent me a DM about minting on February. So I thought it was interesting, at least to connect and check out, what ideas do they have, what they have to offer, and how
Yeah.
does that process work. What I don't find their Twitter at the moment.
Well, I wonder if but like it would be on you would mint on Sound, but it would be like featured on Super Collector or something.
I just found the Twitter. Let's check it out together,
Okay.
shall we? A new value for
Yeah.
music, a place to sell $10 tracks, full albums, EPs, singles, mm, and they have a web page.
Okay, yeah, I see. So it looks like they are a minting platform then?
It appears so, yeah, on ETH. Yeah,
Supercollector.xyz.
here's their,
Looks
yeah.
like the artist gets 90% of the $10 people use to buy the tracks, and the tracks value is $10 tied. Mm.
Yeah,
And
interesting. But let's see. So from $10 per track, artist producer. So let's see if I just click on one of these tracks from like Blackheart Honeymoon. Collect all $60 worth. Collect $10 worth. Interesting. So
That's one of our friends.
yeah. Interesting.
Where are you? You want to show your screen?
But oh, sorry. Yeah. Let me. Can I share my screen? Let's see.
Yeah, Blackheart Honeymoon.
No, I can't.
Savage Priest.
Sorry, I can't share my screen right now. But so what I'm just wondering is, let's see. So, $10 tracks. Do they have
No.
like? Most of these, what I'm seeing, and sorry I couldn't share my screen, is I'm just seeing these are all look like, oh, from $10. So you can, no, they're all $10 tracks though. So you can't do like a $1 track or like a $5 track.
I'm checking their Notion. Uh, I'm going to send the main Notion page, but I'm just checking like the overview in Music Fans and say something like, buying tracks on Super Collector is a new way to show that you are passionate about music. Better than simple buying music downloads, with Super Collector you are verified as an owner and a super fan of music. The support of music makers needs a big change, and Super Collector is here with a strong position. A track you love is worth at least $10. That's 10 at Bandcamp, that's 10 the support of the artist, 10 as special. Your collection is public for all to see and gaze at it in wonder on Super Collector, as well as numerous other music platforms in a new decentralized ecosystem for music.
I mean, sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
It
I've come across
definitely.
those, but
I'm sorry.
never got
What was that,
involved.
Phones?
I actually had seen them before, and yeah, they're uh, relatively popular platform.
Yeah, I mean, they have, it looks like quite a few musicians minting over there or whatever. Yeah, minting, I guess, if they're NFTs and all. Yeah, I'm seeing Black Dave over there. I mean, no reason not to, I don't think. I think it's probably got less reach than Sound, just because I hadn't even really heard of it. I, kind of rang a bell, but I guess um, maybe it's more flexible over on Sound as far as with like the little kind of freebies that you collect for like the couple dollars or whatever, versus here it looks like it's pretty much $10 a track, which, there's something to be said about getting a musician $10 for every one of their tracks, but not everybody can afford that.
For sure. I'm curious about asking that too, because it's like it is. And what if you want to offer different things? But maybe they are aiming like for, yeah, just like it costs $10 to support somebody. So maybe you have a local concert and you have this like type of buy me a coffee stuff type of thing. I don't know. Yeah, it looks like any other music platform, if you ask me. Like at the end, they are all offering the same. Well, I think it's one of the winner platforms are those that let you create your own contract, but also they have
Mm-hmm.
templates to help you doing the contracts, or that
Yeah.
sends you to places where you can learn about that. Um, Recently, I saw a video from Austin Griffith. Are you familiar with Austin Griffith, guys?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, he has a great vibe. He's like a developer of Ethereum, and he have been building different like uh, tools to help developers and non-developers to start being developers on Ethereum. So
Nice.
for that purpose, he has two main platforms. So I'm going to check if I can find it. think I'm finding it now. But yeah, he has this web page somewhere. The name is Scalfold. Scalfold. Oh, I think it's this one. Mm, yes, it's here. Scalfold, an open source up-to-date toolkit for building decentralized applications on the Ethereum blockchain, designed to make it easier for developers to create and deploy smart contracts. Yeah, I think it's a tool to make developing faster.
Hmm.
Uh, uh, but there's another page with a similar name. It's like a Notion that shows you like all the carpentry, and they also have a funny page. I think is this one. Sorry if this is a wrong link, but I think it's speedrunethereum.com, and uh, it's like incentivizing people to start doing the developers on Ethereum. So they show you how to create a simple NFT, then a decentralized staking app, then a token vendor. They show you how to build a debt.
Man.
Yeah, pretty interesting. Um, yeah, I just get into this. I don't know how did we get here. Yeah, I don't know if Felens has his music ready for us to hear it. Okay, I'm going to keep talking then.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was editing
You know
some
what?
videos from Austin Griffith. Uh, there are some videos from Raid Guild. Are you familiar with Raid Guild, guys?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Oh yeah.
I'm not too familiar, but I had the pleasure to edit some videos this month of their community gatherings. So I had
Nice.
the opportunity to check on the community gatherings and pause, repeat, and I was able like to digest. So Austin Griffith was one of those. And I know Musashi have been telling me about him every time that I told him that I want to learn about Ethereum, and he shows me this scaffold and speedrun Ethereum and how both work like together. And Austin Griffith is the guy. So yeah, it's worth the checking out. Uh, like a great alpha, I think. Um, yeah, you ready,
Nice.
fellas?
Let's
Hey.
do this.
Woohoo.
So you'll see my share screen. This is the latest mock-up of the cartoonish animation that's going to be done for the tune called Top Down. This is Jigsaw's work, if you've come across him. So really, really stoked to, we were trying all sorts of things, trying to use, Grand Theft Auto and this other one called Beam XL, various, vehicle, you know, virtual space driving, where we could, take the footage and then run it through AI to have it come up with, a really nice arts. I can show you a couple things that we were able to produce, but it kept on crashing. His system versus, a lot of different things just came to a head and went, what do you want to do? And she said, I want to go back to my animation style. And it's like, why didn't we do this in the first place? So it's like, well, not to say that. We really wanted to have something come out of, to give it the full ride on that, because we really did want something to come out of the work. But what I'm totally stoked about is seeing his interpretation now of the top down. So it's basically the theme is driving on a summer sunset with the top down along the coastal highway scene, and you're jamming with this song.
Nice.
Can you hear this? course. Here we go. How funny. Okay, here we go. Good sample of it. Hope you enjoyed it.
Awesome.
So it's just a chill tune. It's just going to be something to, it's something you just turn up on your stereo and jam with it. So it's
Yeah, nice.
What I've been hoping
Nice
for.
piece of work.
Thanks.
I almost wish there was like, and I don't think I'm familiar with the artist, but I love the piece. I almost wish there was just like some little bit of motion, like if the guy's hair blew and the wheels
It's
turned on the
gonna be-
car.
It's going to be fully.
Yeah.
This is just a snapshot. This is a
Nice. Okay, perfect.
No,
Sweet.
it's going to be a lot different actually. In fact, there's going to be waves. There's going to be
Nice.
Beautiful.
as I like to call them, God rays on the sun, and
Awesome.
So, yeah, I can't wait to see the future. But I just wanted to share since. we've got-
Very
well,
cool.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
awesome. Awesome way
Are
to
we
get the
actually
sneak peek.
broadcasting this on Twitter, or where are we going with this right now?
We could be all over the place. I don't know.
So
I
this
think we
pic-
went out to Twitter.
This
did?
image was made by another artist, or did you make this image?
This was all original work by a gentleman, a fantastic artist by the name of Jigsaw.
Jigsaw, that's right.
Jigsaw, and you can, that's his name on Twitter, and he's got a couple of different projects. The Holiday Moose. I mean, he's got a bunch of really great animations.
I think we follow each other.
And yeah, he's been in a lot of different spaces as well, and he's been here in Tokensmart a couple times too, along with our friend who was in here for a while. I don't know if you noticed William William Takeover, otherwise known as Mitch.
Hmm.
Yeah, and so he and Jigsaw, um, uh, the crypto therapist, and the whole nifty music crowd, they go way back. You know, including Kane and Natalie. They all know each other from the Clubhouse days. So yeah, it's kind of cool working with an artist that is deep in the NFT scene, and he is a phenomenal producer, music producer himself. So yeah,
Nice.
cool stuff. Yeah. So that was top down. Look for it. Hopefully in the next couple of months.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Gotta love to
Well,
see it.
Beautiful. And yeah, I almost like I could watch it move. I appreciate that the image was made in paint.
No, I honestly don't know what app it was, but this is, you know, it actually is computer generated, but hand, no, it's hand
Digitally
generated,
drawn.
digital drawn. Exactly.
It was handmade and then digitally
No,
draw.
it's with the mouse and or whatever tablet he's using.
Or
You
stylus,
just
yeah.
figure out.
Yeah, I was just checking his Twitter and seeing how he made some work.
Yeah.
There was one
The
interesting
seasonal
one.
moose, what it's called, seasonal moose, and he's also got I cannot remember the other one, but some really great NFT projects. A lot of cartoonish stuff. That's his thing, and with that, you know, he also created a. Yeah, I wish he was here. Maybe I'll work that out for another time. So
Yeah.
I didn't want to go down the rabbit hole too far with this song. I really just want to share, and so uh, I'll do a release with him and take it to Easy's Corner. How's that? Have him come with me.
Yeah, that'd be
At
awesome.
this point, it's a 50-50. He's
Mhm.
put so much time into this. So yeah, I'm excited. So thank you.
I just saw some
Oh
of his
yeah,
art.
okay.
He is a friend of the one going into the car.
I remember Jigsaw. Sorry, it's just been a while, yeah.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Oh wow, they're live. Jigsaw's live on Twitter Spaces.
Is he?
Just started a space.
All right. Well, see you later, man.
Alone. Later.
But this has been a really great night. Jose, I'd love to have you. You know, I'm happy to do another tune. You.
Yeah, I was just thinking about sharing another one last song. Today's show was actually one of the longest and actually one of the most like enjoyable, I will say. Not like not like the others have not been enjoyable, but I say we got twisted even on video here sharing the vibes and that never happened before.
True.
So, I was like, "Oh, this is
This.
one of the special shows for sure."
Mhm.
Yeah, well, happy to share a last song for the road. We have been having like tinier shows in this season, little music, but really great conversations coming along. And I think that this year will be presenting a lot of great conversations. There's the halving coming on September, November. I don't remember. Uh, Something and but besides that, optimism ecosystem is giving like 1 point stuff billion, and that's huge. In the other hand, so better we don't sleep on that, because I'm telling you, there's like projects that are just new in town, just knocking the door and getting a couple thousands, and I think that we can do something great with that. Maybe, I don't know, meme contest, you name it, just you name it. But you know, Spark tokens more as it was in the old days. the the days that are unexplainable. At least you were there. Okay. Mm. ¿Quién te dijo que la realidad es todo lo que puedes ver? Seguro fue un orangután que no piensa en versos. ¿Quién te dijo que la realidad es solo materia y efectos? ¿Y de dónde sale eso? No te lo dirá. Y la verdad yo creo, sin arrepentimientos, en lo que tenga que pasar. Y entonces lo creo. Déjame soñar, súbete a mi dragón, volemos por ahí. Déjame volar y ser como un turpial al llegar a tu flor. ¿Qué es lo que pasa, niña curiosa? Que te sonrojas cuando me abrazas, verás, yo tengo cartas bajo la manga. Como buen mago, no me comporto. Qué peculiar que tengas esa rara forma de pensar, que te preocupen cosas así no estén mal. La verdad existen momentos que no entiendo. Y refutar ese carácter con carácter de león que hace reacción ya solo por mera adicción. Repito frases por dentro para calmarme y tú después tiendes siempre a ponerme contra la pared. A veces siento que solo es cuestión de estrés. Serena, tienen a un poquito antes de hablarme, de lamentar que hagas de todo siempre una calamidad. Con eso tú me cambies la realidad, que tu libreto sea una obra del pasado. ¡Qué falsedad! Haces un drama de un programa de TV y yo cuestiono siempre todo lo que es. Quizás si es que estoy bien loco de remate.
Woo!
Happy Monday! Starting the
Absolute
week on
classic
fire.
tune.
Woo-hoo.
Woo!
Have a great night,
Love it.
everyone. Loved it. Good job.
Oh, I
Ian.
thought you were going to share a last song, don't you?
You were saying last song. Okay. Well,
I just thought.
no. When I heard you say last song, your last song, I'm good to play. You bet.
We're getting one. We're getting a last one from Felons. Yeah, great show. We did go pretty long. And I appreciate everybody hanging in.
Big time. First stage, if you remember this one.
That was awesome.
Oof, some heavy clams mixed with that sauce. But it was oh,
Yeah.
song, and there's so much to do right now, and it's been a really incredible time. So I'm actually stepping away out of a lot of socials these days. So I've been really active in Vipe, and I definitely ate, or I guess you can, I jumped into Nifty Islands, got mine set up, but I have not driven any traffic to it yet. But at this point, it's just so much, eye candy. It's like, what do I have to be working on? I've got to be working on my
Yeah.
music, and for sure, I want to come into you know Easy's Corner with some new material for you guys and keep on upping my game. So now's the time to be sharpening the saw, because I'm really excited for what's going to come this year. And so much more. I mean, one thing I want to let you know, I am dabbling with this thing called Spheroid, which is an AR platform similar to Spheroid. It is similar to over reality,
OVR.
OVR. And guess who's all over it? It's Hex. And I've been hanging out with him in his chats. Well, one he has on Tuesday in, as a space, 8 a.m. Pacific on Tuesdays. And then he has a session on LinkedIn at 8 a.m. on Wednesdays. And
Mm.
it's, I can drop a little bit about that, but look him up. His name, of course, Charles Ledbetter, on the great world of LinkedIn. He's just doing a phenomenal job hooking up so many different communities into AR. And
Wow.
so I bought a couple of pieces or plots, squares, right at the light rail stop outside of the Austin Conference Center, where South by Southwest is. And so I'm going to be working on something with him to it's just right where this little park is, right as people get out of the light rail.
Cool.
And it's such a perfect spot to have some AR experiences, stop people going, hey, look at this.
Totally.
And whatever musician wants to play in this space. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it. It's in March, South by Southwest.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really excited to branch out, and I've been wanting to do something OVR, but this just seems to be having some momentum that is just
Sounds cool.
Spheroid. So that's my alpha.
Spheroid Alpha. Nice. I know I've been wanting to get to South by for years, and I don't know when I'm gonna make it. But awesome.
I just got
NYC.
I have some last thing to share today, and is that in Metagame we are putting things in order for the first time in 3 years. Woo! Yeah,
Nice.
actually, the project has some hikes and lows, and I really joined it like a year ago when everything was like down already, and this year was about fixing the page, which was a challenge because we didn't have the treasury to do that. Like it costed a
Mm-hmm.
lot of money to put that web page into running, into having somebody to actually invest the time to do it. But we'll solve it along with a few grants and few movements, and now the page is great and it's running.
Nice.
So we are in a second stage that is to look for DAOs to use our product and to buy a yearly subscription to our project. So for that, we have a section that is a bridge builders, there was a time that I was telling felons to join the bridge builders, but my English was not that good back in the days, and the page was so broken that I had the intention, but it was impossible to do it back in the day. But I just got the green light that it's the moment to do it. So I just shared in the live chat like the bridge builders guide, where you can check like what are the basics to book somebody to community gatherings or big etc. And it will be great to see you guys involved. At the moment, there's not too much like treasury, but the thing is that if metagame survives this year and it actually blooms somehow, um, I think it can be great. Like we can get some funding to actually get into the next stages of metagame that will be more like onboarding related, and
Hmm.
that can be something that can be great for us as players, because I think that's in a way or another we are playing the metagame here in Token Smart because we have a long-term
Oh
vision.
yeah.
We are looking to do cross-pollination, thinking out of the box, trying to play a different game. Yeah, looking forward to see you guys if you have a question about being a bridge builder or even for Tristlit, if he wants to check out into the developer realm on metagame. Maybe there are a few things that you can connect. More like for curiosity, because I think metagame was never this complete. So I think it can be a great moment like to check it out because the information is great. Right now, metagame is on Octant. I don't know if you know about Octant, guys. I'm going to share the page, and we are in the top 24 projects of this round. So we are able to
Oh,
receive
nice.
like a grant, and I think it ended today, maybe 1 hour ago, or it still have a few minutes to go. But we get so far around 12.37 ETH, which is around $30,000, which is great.
Awesome.
That can keep us running for a few months. So I think maybe can be a nice moment to reach building. That is what we want. If we get people subscribing to our product, we get income flowing into the ecosystem, and that's what we are looking forward in this moment, like to be sustainable. And I like how things are moving right now because it's like it is, and I think that in metagame we are seeing it like everybody is building the same tools, and everybody wants to be the first doing the tool or having the successful tool. But what Web3 allow us is the merge. So I think that one of the main strengths is going to be like we are going to use the tools that everybody is creating out there and seeing how we can interconnect our products to that, and look out for the best of the ecosystem. So there's nice information flowing around. Yeah, 2024.
Um,
Woohoo!
Actually, I've got. It says I have some like rewards. I have an allocation to spend when it ends in a day, so I need to like spend this on.
A metagame?
No, I don't know. I'm looking at this at the Octant.
Oh, allocate
So
that into metagame. Please do that.
yeah, where okay, yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I found
Woo!
metagame.
Woo!
How do I
Woo!
give it all? Give it all.
Send
Let me
me
know
Uh,
how much did you send. That is
I don't know.
huge.
I don't even know. It just says I have something to allocate, so I'm giving it to metagame. How do I do it?
Woo! Yeah, because what I understand is that the funds we receive, they come from a staking treasury of Ethereum that the guys from Octan has running with a insane amount of Ethereum. So we are getting tokens from the rewards they get from staking that ETH. So every once in a while, they do these rounds giving funds to projects. Actually, I have a recording of them in my computer. I have to edit it in order to share it, but I think it can be great to check it out because it's happening, and we can get that information and share it with others. And I think that Octan is one of the communities that are doing this sustainably somehow, like from the stake rewards they get from their ETH, not like sending directly from their pockets, but you know, from their stakes.
Do
Hmm.
not have any allocation.
Yeah, and I think it lied because it said like I had a message when I came on. It's all you have like already locked GM whatever it is, but now I'm not finding that I have any of it locked up. So I'm still looking though.
If it had those dashes at the bottom going something GLM, is that you have 0 GLM locked. That's what.
No, but I swear it was like you've got the the
Okay.
stuff to do, and then now it's like where is it? It's all you've got 0.
Okay, so you're in there just under metagame. I don't see metagame.
Yes.
Okay.
Projects, and then scroll down a little. Yeah.
Yeah, so what I noticed is that we have to get like 0.14 ETH, and after that, the grant exploded. Like that's how it works. If you get like 0.14 or so, the ETH you receive just pops up to 10th
Hmm.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like people decides where the funding is going to go based on that. You can see a few familiar projects. I see Giveth over there, Token Engineering Commons. I see, let's see, Revoke that cash.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, it's cool that you guys have so much visibility here. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, Metagame actually did something really good on December, which was DAOcember along with DAO House, and it was pretty cool. It was one of the biggest digital activities, and a lot of people from all over the projects were there. Refi related, DAO related, a lot of builders sharing their concerns and insights. And I know Token Smart is not a doubt, but we do have a lot of things to share there. I don't know, so can be great to for me to be more proactive, inviting you guys like for these kind of activities, especially like when they are related to community, to I don't know. Actually, there's a wide range of things that might be of interest. So um, yeah, I'm going to see. But on Fridays we are having community gatherings on Metagame. For this Friday we are going to have some refi projects, and can be even great to have them here for a Token Smart Monday one of these days too.
Hmm.
So it's worth the check. Yeah, I think nothing more to say. Good night.
Yeah, that was just bonus round, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
The
Well,
feedback.
peace, love, and whipsy.
Peace, love, and whipsy. Hold the vibe. Adiwa. See you guys.
you,
Blessed week.
Much love. Oh, next, I believe next Monday we're gonna have old friend Suga. Suga from the old Cent days, an artist from Africa, is gonna be coming on next week, at least for a little. So he'll share a little bit of art, I think.
right on.
Cool.
Great.
Good night, guys.
Shufa.
Good night, everyone.
See you out in the metaverse. Woo!
See ya.